Who's in, who's out? Indiana Hoosiers Live 66, presented by FanDuel. And Brad, we don't talk basketball until we do. And we'll talk a little basketball. We're going to start it off. Indiana just put Purdue in a locker. So we talked about it a little bit before we hopped on, but I'm going to step aside and give you the floor here, Mr. Master of the Eye Test. What did you see last night from our Indiana Hoosiers?
I saw finally us putting Purdue and their stupid-ass fans in their place. What up, little bros? Hope I see any little bros in the chat. Feel free to chime in. If any little bros out there want to talk to you. And they're down bad as they should be. 3 straight from them if we want to talk Purdue ball. First signature win, DeVries era. I think if you weren't already bought into him being the guy, just kind of watching them play, some things really stick out. Like, obviously, key signature win. Guys really stepped up defensively in a team that outmatched us physically, which is like a big theme with this team. So it's going to continue. You know, this team is small. They only have 2 bigs on the roster that play. Sisley's not a big; he's a 4, like a stretch 4. Like, he's like arguably a 3. I guess they have 4 bigs, like Sisley, Bailey, and Alexis, but 2 of those guys are legit 4s. Like, Bailey's playing out. Bailey, fantastic player, averaged 19 a game at Davidson last year, being forced in a tough spot, playing the 5, out of position, catching a lot of unnecessary flack. Because in the reality, he's a stretch 4. Give that guy Kofi Coburn, he's going crazy. I hope Darien DeVries realizes going through this Big Ten gauntlet, it's like, man, I gotta get a couple big guys in the portal. Like, that is primo number 1. Guards are everywhere. Let's get some veteran.
You were right. I did have to reel you in. I wanted to talk about, like, the Connor Enright played 40 minutes last night, guarded the best point guard in college basketball and made him look human. Fletcher Warrior disappeared again in Assembly Hall. Like, the golden age of Purdue basketball is going to end up 500 at best against Indiana, and that is a wildly hilarious thing.
Yeah, the Braden Smith Lawyer Kaufman Wren class is going to end up not as good as against Indiana as they probably should have been, to be quite honest. And that's awesome because the little brother, and that's what it should be. We established that last night, winning the Natty, and then a week later beating their ass in Assembly Hall. Signetti with Radicic and Quinn Warren and Jamari Sharp, who's probably going to be a captain on the team next year. Cool moment. I don't know if you saw the clip of him tapping, bringing Jamari Sharp over. Like, that's the shit that should be going around more often, because I think one thing that gets overlooked is how much Signetti cares and loves for his players. Anyways, back to basketball. Connor Enright playing the game of his life defensively, hitting a big shot. Legend in IU lore forever for that shot.
A classic yes.
A classic
Marcus Smart special.
No, with this team, like, a lot of the time, like, I'm like, every Lamar Wilkerson, I'm watching with my boy, he's like talking about Lamar Wilkerson taking crazy shots. I'm like, dude, Lamar Wilkerson can take any shot he wants. DeVries can take any shot he wants. Doran can take any shot he wants. Enright's a little bit of a different story, but, like, if at that point it's like Enright can also take any shot he wants as long as he's open. And he was. And he took it and he drilled it. He's a great shooter.
With confidence.
As long as they're in rhythm, like, and you don't think about it, like, that's, as a shooter myself, like, that is the key. Like, you just don't think. Whenever I think about my elbow, that's when I miss the shot, right? Like, I can't be thinking about legs and my feet and my elbow when I'm shooting. I gotta just let it rip. Hit a nasty game winner on Monday the other day and runs, by the way, like, straight up kind of fucking around on the wing and then hit a little Kobe fader on the corner for game winner splash. Went like 4 for 5 from 3 in that game. Anyways, so, like, I know what it takes to be, or at least I know what it's like to be a shooter. Anyway, it's not about me. It's about the boys. Did it without Tate and Conaway, who going into the season was like, that's the guy we need to, like, clamp a Braden Smith. So for Enright to step up and make that happen, now the team's all of a sudden in a great spot to, as long as they take care of business, win their home games, and maybe get a couple big wins down the road, like, they're in a good spot to make the tournament, which is great. Overall, so just excited to kind of just follow this team and just enjoy it. Like, coming off a national championship in football, it's like, okay, let's just, whatever we do in basketball is just going to be gravy, man. Like, it's just going to be a little icing on the cake. Doesn't really, like, we're a football school. Like, let's just call it what it is, right? And, like, with that, all the other sports are going to get good since we won that Natty. That's something I said before. Like once we win the Natty in football, it's all going to come back to basketball is going to be back like this. Like don't be surprised if you see us in the Sweet 16 in 2020 in the 27 tournament. I'm going to call my shot right now. We will be in the Sweet 16 in 27. Calling it now. Clip it. And this team, they have a lot of really good things to them. Offensively, they have the highest adjusted offensive rating in the Ken Palm era. Think about that. Let that sink in. They're top 15 in assist rate. They share the ball, they share the wealth, and they shoot really well. So as long as this team is filled with shooters, they're going to be playing DeVries ball and they're going to be doing their thing on offense. As long as they share it and they shoot it. And that's IU basketball, man. Like we talk about the Bobby Knight teams, like that is what they did. They shared the ball, they shared the wealth, and they execute well on offense. Defensively, this particular team is limited with that, Bailey, Alexis, and Sisley being the only bigs when the reality is Alexis is undersized 5. He's a legit 5. He's good. He could use a 7-footer to wear some people out for him down the stretch and share those minutes with, where it should be like Bailey and Sisley sharing time at the 4, maybe a little DeVries if we want to go smaller. We could go Bailey, DeVries, 4-5 if we want to go small for stretches, but that shouldn't be our go-to lineup that we're doing. And I hope DeVries adjusts with that going into the portal. So I think it affects us defensively. We know DeVries can coach really good defensive teams. Go look at any of his teams on KenPom. West Virginia year 1 with him was top 10 as an undersized team in defensive efficiency, mostly having to do with the loss of DeVries, which kind of lit a fire in their ass, and they kind of had to play defense or else they would just lose every game. And but yeah, they defense will be fine in the long run. This team has a lot of deficiencies this year in that regard. But I think if we want to go big picture here, this team DeVries shows a lot of good signs. I think the reality is that, when you watch the Nebraska-Michigan game, which was on right before then, and you watch some of these other teams like Duke and Arizona, and obviously every Indiana fan wants to get back to that level. The reality is we just need to get better players. Like I don't want to diss these guys because they're good players. Like Reed Bailey's a good player. King Conroy is a good player. Wilkerson's a good player. They would be playing professionally overseas. If we want to compete at the high level, we got to get NBA guys. And this team just doesn't have NBA guys. Maybe Wilkerson. That's what I would say. Like maybe Wilkerson. Obviously, Slew's coming in here. Loud as CSERT Assembly. Obviously, a lot of buzz from the Natty. And then we're playing Purdue. So, glad to see Assembly back, which looks like the fan base is locking back in for basketball as they should be and always will. So that's great to see. It'll be a great way for recruits, by the way.
Can I zig on you real quick?
Yeah.
I think that we are, and I don't want to be hyperbolic and I don't want to put any unnecessary expectations on this basketball team, but what are the things we talked about? They brought in 13 to 15 new players, completely new roster.
The whole team is new.
Nick Dorn was dealing with a foot injury, didn't really start playing until the last 2-3 weeks, right? We're now into the end of January, early February. This is now the meat of conference play. This is when you start to see teams really gel with the shooting, with the veteran leadership, with the watching Tucker DeVries battle in the post last night. And I know this team is undersized, and the bigger lineups in the Big Ten are going to give them problems, but it's not due to lack of effort. These dudes play really hard. The shots fall, and they're an easy team to get behind. And so I actually think that this you need to put a really big win on paper sometimes, and obviously the Purdue, we watched Mike Woodson beat Purdue a couple times, so I don't want to put too much stake into one basketball game, but a lot of really, really encouraging things recently for this basketball team, especially with the rise of Nick Dorn.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling it. That's something I missed on the defensive end where I was being a little too critical. They do play really hard. I think that's always
Connor Enright dodging picks at the top of the key and being able to stay in ball handlers' chests is utterly ridiculous. His lateral quickness and ability to jump around those picks is actually insane. He's elite at it.
Who'd you mention? Sorry.
Enright.
Yeah, he's awesome. great intelligence. Like this team has a lot of veteran leadership and they shoot really well. So like as long as they can make it to the tournament, they're going to be a difficult out. Like if you're a 6 seed playing 11 seed Indiana, like you're shaking your boots. Like that is what's going to happen. And yeah, with Bailey, like Bailey kind of getting some confidence to him, that's going to be huge down the stretch. Need to get that guy going. He's such a good scorer. And I feel like him playing the 5, we haven't been able to see that because he's a face-up 4. He is a guy where he can take you off the dribble, stretch it out, and take you to the rack. He's got really good finishing. He's just struggled a little bit. He's adjusting to it, right? And he's a little length, like just a little long and string beanie, you know what I mean? Like, so he's not like a true 5, and it's just difficult for him, right? And he's stepping up to the challenge. With Connerway and Josh Harris being hurt, and I think other guys have gotten hurt throughout the scary moment with Wilkerson last night as well. Like, I held my breath for a little bit there. I mean, this team has the potential to have a sound season, but like if we want to get back to that top level, like it's just going to take some years to get there and start building up the roster again. And I think there's a point to like not only did he was the first year head coach that had to replace the entire roster, so he's playing from behind already, and that just left him at a disadvantage. Like it's not any of these guys' fault. It's not Darien DeVries' fault. They're just playing from behind. But I'm seeing a lot of good. Like I haven't seen since I've attended Indiana. I have not seen in 2017, the year after the first year of Archie, and on. This is the most well-coached team that we've had. And it shows up in the numbers as well, especially offensively. They run great sets. They play the true college game. I think that was a big, like with Archie, they were just bad. With Woodson, it was more like super talented team, wasn't really playing the college game though. And that was working against them, right? Like they were so talented. Like you see Miller Kopp and Trey Galloway and TJD doing their thing in the G League and the NBA, and JHS is probably going to figure it out someday. And like super talented teams, but just limited in scheme. Like they were playing an NBA game in the college game. Like that just doesn't work, right? There's a reason why UConn wins, right? They're running really good sets. Like those, you watch those UConn teams that went back to back, like they were talented and they were running like they were playing like these DeVries teams, but just like they had Caravan and Klingon and freaking Tristan Newton and Jordan Hawkins, all those guys. Like they just need to get back to having those level of players for Indiana, and they're going to be just fine. Got 3 top 75 recruits coming in, freshmen, but definitely got to bring in some veteran guys through the portal to fill up that roster. Got Sisley and Dorn's going to be a big piece to build around, but like we got to bring in 4 starters to bring in around Dorn, and then those 3 freshmen and Sisley and Josiah Miles off the bench. That all of a sudden you got a 10 deep that's looking really nice. And what's good is that it was funny. We were chatting about it yesterday with my buddy, Bruce. You know him. And I think one thing that like Dusty May gets a lot of flack for being kind of the tampering guy. Like he was, apparently, probably offered him a Daimara after they played UCLA last year. Probably offered Merez Johnson some money after they played Illinois last year. Like what's nice, and I'm a big proponent of bending the rules. Just the wild, wild west out there. If you ain't, I encourage it. We'll pay those dues later. Bring me a championship. I don't care. Right? By all means necessary. And Keyser will disagree on me here, but I think DeVries.
It's good cop.
DeVries now has the time to formulate a plan going into the portal and bring in those. I'm going to call it the 4 key starters that they're going to need to bring in to build around Nick Dorn's. I think
Sisley starts
next year, right? As the senior guy, knows what he's probably gonna be the team captain next year. Because everyone else is gone. All these other guys are seniors. So it's like no, Connerway's gone, DeVries is gone, Wilkerson's gone. I know we'll see if we can ping Lawton to get maybe one of these back, maybe. We'll see. We were joking about that over text yesterday, but There's no real case for any of these guys coming back that are seniors. And I don't know. I have to look into Reed Bailey a little bit. But if they bring in like some solid bigs to build around that, they probably need to bring in with Sisley and coming back, they need to bring in 3 bigs, two that will start, 1 backup center. So a legit 4 and a legit 5 and another 5 to back them up. And then a point guard and a shooting guard. And then Dorn's going to play the 3. That team, you build that team. They'll look like Michigan and the Nebraskas and it's crazy to put Nebraska in that category. But you know what I mean? Like there seems to be with the portal era, just overarching, like these top teams that are making the tournament, they're going to fill in the top 6 seeds. Big gap between everyone else. Like it feels like it's them, and then it's like a big hodgepodge, and it's like it's going to be real tough when you're filling out your bracket this year to pick an upset, because you saw it last year, very chalky. It's probably going to stay that way, and that's the portal effect right there. These teams are loaded. They don't have, these mid-majors won't have that one random NBA guy like a Kyle O'Quinn on Norfolk State that knocks off the 2 seed Missouri way back in the day, because Kyle O'Quinn is on Duke because he got picked up in the portal, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a little different type of era now, to where you got to just load up your roster as best you can and let the chips fall where they may. And with the good thing about Indiana is that we got the lore and we got the money to do it. And we got the coach. He's the guy. Buy in. He's it. Maybe there's better guys out there, but he's top 25 college coach. Give him the players. We can make some noise, make a run, and do our thing. And that's basketball. Like we're on the brink, man. I was so bought in after yesterday's win. I was already bought in on DeVries. Just watching them play, watching them share the ball, effort on defense. Like that's college basketball. That's the team. Those are the teams, because people don't know that. Well, people do know this. Grew up a UCLA fan. I watched the last teams to go to 3 straight Final Fours. It was those UCLA teams, 06 to 08. Insane effort on defense. And they obviously had tons of NBA talent. They were able to score it when they wanted to, right? You talk Darren Collison, Aaron Aflalo, yada, yada, yada. They had all those guys, right? And, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love. I'll throw some names. I'm done.
I love it.
Watching those teams like that is why I feel like I can be critical, because I've seen it this century. Like I've seen it. Like people can talk about the Bobby Knight days. I don't want to hear it. It's a new era.
You were kidding. I do got to rein. I really do have to rein you. No, I like the long-term outlook of this program. I think I'm a little bit more glass half full on the short-term outlook of this season. I just like the fact that we can shoot it and we're gritty and we play defense and move the ball. And I don't know. I get enjoyment when I watch this team play. Like obviously I'm not a diehard. I'm much more like focused on football, but like when you're associated with Indiana University in any way, shape, or form, you become an Indiana basketball fan. And so for that program to continue to give people like us, and I know you're much more of a basketball junkie than I am, but to give us more things to talk about and to continue to highlight this program because of where it is in its place historically in the sport. So this is unbelievably exciting. I completely agree with you. I'm bought in on DeVries. I see the vision. I'm torn apart by the way the roster was put together this year. And like, I'm really excited for the future, especially with the way the class of 2026 looks, starting with Prince Alexander Moody. Also, Von Carvalho is in that class, and Trevor, is it Manhertz, who just committed today, and he's going to reclass. So they have 3, like you said, top 75 guys coming in. They're going to be able to hit the portal hard with a sick bankroll. And like you said, when football is winning national championships, we don't have to explain to our viewing audience that Bloomington, Indiana is a really fun place to be, regardless of how the sports are going. And me and you spent 4 years there in an era where Indiana football and Indiana basketball football was all right, but basketball wasn't exactly up to standard. And so really, really exciting time to be a student at Indiana. Imagine being a freshman right now, Brad. Like you come in, your football team goes 16-0, and now like Darien DeVries is riding the ship for Indiana basketball. And all of a sudden it's like, look at what the sports future for an Indiana football fan or Indiana athletics fan looks like right now.
Looks fantastic. Soccer is going to be knocking on the door. We got one of the better baseball programs in the Big Ten. It's going to be tough winning Big Ten titles with UCLA and Oregon, just being around in USC. But And, Michigan's there. They're a great sports school as well. Like we are. When we started this podcast, we talked about how we could be an everything school. The comparison is you want to be like Michigan, like, and that's with the utmost respect to them, right? Like they have been good at every sport forever. Like they are one of the premier athletic. They are the premier athletic department in the country. So as close as we can get to them, well, we're about to maybe surpass them with the most recent football title. They're looking. I like their basketball.
I don't know, man. A lot of turmoil. They don't really. A lot of weird stuff going on at that university. A lot of a lot of their staffers get arrested. Like I don't know. Like they're not exactly the most ethical, but they win sometimes.
Yeah, they win, and that's the point. Like I said, I'll take the flack later, right? Like give me some rings, and we'll figure it out as we go. And John's mad at me for the easy trigger on the Bobby Knight. I'm not calling out the Bobby Knight team. I think they're great. That was 40 years ago is my point, right? Like that was so long ago, guys. Like
this is going to be, we're going to be all over the place on this show. It's going to be very present focused because of obviously the talking about basketball, the portal just closed. We're talking about who's in, who's out, all the good stuff. But let's talk about the future a little bit, Brad, because finally, for whatever reason, the Big Ten delayed the schedule release for what felt like 2 months.
We're done with basketball, I guess.
Huh?
It's my 20 minutes of basketball. We're done.
Yeah. Do you have more? Am I like?
No, I would just be saying the same things over and over again. So I got my words out.
Listen, this is Indiana at the voice of college football. There is no off season when it comes to the voice of college football. We're talking football, and like we both just said, when the basketball team is going to play like that, when they're going to generate that much buzz, and it's going to be like, not that we're always going to be supporters of the team, but when they're going to generate buzz like that, we're going to talk about them. But no, let's talk about the schedule, Brad, because we finally have dates on the calendar, official dates. It started to leak a little bit on the timeline, but it was hard to be like, okay, who's credible, who's not. Are we really getting Michigan and Ohio State back to back? Turns out that Oregon also has that on their schedule, but I sent you the schedule. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure the viewers have seen it. We'll start with the non-con. North Texas, Howard, Western Kentucky. Not going to win any new fans with those. So I'll just give you 30 seconds on the non-con. What you got, Brad?
North Texas, a 10-win team this past year. Solid. Lost their head coach, though, the Mean Green.
And quarterback.
That'll be fun. That'll be a fun color matchup. That'd be sweet. Love the red and green. Looks cool. Yeah, Taven Jackson, little reunion. We had Dexter Williams at Kennesaw State. Now we got Taven Jackson coming to North Texas, coming home. Howard, love giving the exposure to HBCUs. That's the spin zone there, guys. Stick to it, all right? Stick to it. We're giving exposure to HBCUs.
People watch us, Brad. We are an exposure
We're the good
school.
guys.
Yes.
We're the good guys. And then Western Kentucky, another fun, type of, group of 5 team that, they can win their conference. That's a team that can, in a given year, with that program with Tyson Helton, where they like to sling it out. Think Mike White. Think Bailey Zappi. Think, Tyson Helton's been there the whole time. They like to air it out. They invented, them and Memphis have been the best air raid group of 5 teams the past 10 years. And we get to play them. This isn't, I don't know, North Texas and Western Kentucky are probably if you're going to go the group of 5 route that we're doing, that's not it's not, we're not scheduling Akron here. These are good programs.
We should schedule Akron. We need to.
We'll take care of business. I expect no more than 1 touchdown in those 3 weeks, though, given up by our defense. And it'll probably be Western Kentucky that scores.
I hope the people who hate Indiana schedule clip this. We should be scheduling Akron. We need some get back for that. 4 OTs is ridiculous. I can't be thinking about that every time. We need to can we beat them by 80 and move on?
Yeah, no, seriously.
I'm tired of it.
But yeah, I'm done with the non-con. Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. That'll be fun to do a little history lesson on them. They've been one of the more proud programs in recent memory, in my mind.
I was talking about this today, Brad, because Indiana opens conference play at home against Northwestern, revamped Northwestern staff, Chip Kelly on the as the offensive coordinator, and I believe they're in the new stadium this year?
It should be, but we're playing at our place. So
yeah, we're playing at our place. Not that matters. I was thinking because then the next 2 games are on the road. But if you're gonna go to Bloomington and you have the ability to do this, a cool way to do a little ticket package there would be to get the first 4 games and get a extended Airbnb and if you can work remote or be able to do that. That sounds like a pipe dream, but like that would be a really cool way to do that. Is go to the first 4 games instead of just go to one of those. But Northwestern at home, September 26th. What do you think of the Wildcats going into 2026, Brett?
They're on the up and up, like most of the Big Ten. Like everyone's looking to improve. We're in Power 2 ball, Power 4 ball. Like I'll give the ACC and the Big 12 their flowers. They're starting to pump out some really good teams. We saw Texas Tech and Miami this past year. They're really good with really good depth. Like Miami didn't even win their conference. They made it all the way to the national. They didn't even make their title game. They made it all the way to the national title game. Think about that. Like think about how potentially good the ACC is when you think about that. And
well, there's also – go ahead, sorry.
But anyways, yeah, Northwestern's on the up and up. I don't know who their quarterback is. It's not Preston Stone. I feel like I should
plenty
know.
of time to figure out who's starting for Northwestern.
Yeah, I don't,
like all these rosters aren't even set yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think you make a really good point that all the teams in the Big Ten are on the up because there is really interesting things in the way the Big Ten TV contract works, where if you juxtapose that with the ACC, Miami got all of the money from their college football playoff run. The way the Big Ten works is that money gets cycled like throughout the conference. So it's like an everybody eats type of thing. But the powers that be and the people who really understand these things, the way it's been explained and the way I've read about it is that like that you end up making more money overall as a conference when you pool all the assets and things like that. So it's not an accident that the Big Ten keeps winning national championships as a conference, and then the rest of the conference seemingly keeps going up a level. Like there's an influx of money throughout the entire conference, not just for Indiana for winning.
But we're also on the up and up. So bad news for Northwestern.
What? Oh my God, completely. Then first road game, Brad. We travel to my home state to take on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. I will be fighting tooth and nail to be at this
my
football
first
game.
circled potential game I might be going to. We'll see
Tooth
though.
and nail. If all things go right, I will be living in New Jersey at that point, and so I will be at that football game. But if I can't be, that would suck. But yeah, at Rutgers, I love this matchup. I can't wait. Like I said, my home state. Like I know so many alumni, obviously of both schools, but obviously of Rutgers, and so really unique opportunity to go and watch my football team play a team they're going to beat by 50. It's awesome.
Yeah, love that. The greatest coach of all time goes to the birthplace of college football for the first
story
time.
writes itself.
Love that. Great narrative going into that game. Would love. I'm like kind of as a college football historian, like love the idea of Rutgers being good again. I remember watching those Ray Rice, Teal, and Kenny Britt teams.
You could have started with Teal. You could have left Ray Rice off. Could have like Mike Leonard and
Ray Rice,
Brian Leonard and Kenny Britt.
Talking about here, like that team is nothing without Ray Rice, and I don't care. Respect the artist, respect the art, not the artist, or whatever the phrase goes. Anyways, not saying I condone anything that Ray Rice did.
No,
just saying, hell of a running back.
No. But yeah, that's week 5.
Yeah, week 5. All right, on to the next.
At Nebraska, week 6, October 10th. I'm super interested to see what the crowd dispersion looks like because obviously Nebraska, legendary home crowd. Lincoln becomes, I think, the 3rd largest city in the state on game days. But every time Indiana's played there, at least in my lifetime, and definitely in my or in my life as a fan, we've never had a team capable of going into Nebraska as double-digit favorites. And so I'm really interested to see how the Hoosier contingent travels. And if I didn't have to be at a wedding the next weekend, I would absolutely be circling that Lincoln, Nebraska game. That is going to be an awesome environment. I'm really, really excited for that one.
I'm gonna stop you there. I think you're getting a little recency bias in terms of what we did in the playoff and all the neutral site games that we did. These are true road games. We might have 3,000 fans there. Like, I'm going to shoot it straight here. Like, I'm not expecting any sort of Indiana contingent take it over Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. Like, that's just not going to happen. They're going to sell it out. They're going to be loud. That is a trappy-ass game for us. And I don't know who their quarterback is. It's not Dylan. If it was Dylan Raiola, I'd actually be a lot more scared. But now that's not. Like, I don't even know who their quarterback is. It going to be that Latif kid that was, like, playing toward the end of the year? Who knows? But yeah, definitely could be a scary environment for this team. Very Kinnick-esque, right? So it can get weird. It could get weird. That is a game you should not be looking over and just being like, oh, it's a dub. Even though I have ran through the schedule and just went through it with the boys and just like dub, 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 dub. obviously. But, like at Nebraska's never easy, right? It's going on the road. It's going to be difficult. National champion Ohio
I'm
State
excited.
beat a bad Nebraska team by a touchdown on the road.
I'm excited to interact with Nebraska Twitter again. That's what I'm excited for.
Thank you, Nebraska.
Yeah. Next week, Brad, this is the big one. It looks like this is lining up to be the homecoming game. If not, it'll be I don't think they would do homecoming on Halloween. October 17th, rematch with Ohio State, the Big Ten championship rematch. Ooh. We get them at home. You want to talk about a sick environment, hoping and praying that's going to be a night game, but we all know that's going to be big noon kickoff.
Or CBS.
First, it's not going to be CBS. It's going to be big noon kickoff.
Yeah.
Caleb Downs was talking. The if tour continues for Caleb Downs. He was talking again about beating Indiana and all that BS. And they get their shot to put their money where their mouth is again, taking on Signetti at home. Brad, initial thoughts on this OSU matchup? Smack dab in the middle of it is the 7th straight football game the Indiana Hoosiers play out of 9.
A battle of giants, an epic clash of titans, a welcome to the show type game where I'm going to call it a coin flip, right? Like we're playing Ohio State. Like I know we just won the Natty. 2025 team, legendary. Keeping a win streak like that going is very hard. At that point, they'll probably be at 22 straight wins if everything goes to plan. Very long win streak, by the way. And they got Ohio State that's returning Julian Sand, returning Jeremiah Smith, bunch of 5-star, bunch of 4-star guys on the roster that they're supplanting. Ryan Day's there, Patricia's there. Didn't they hire some crazy name at OC too? Arthur Smith, right? So like they're reloading too, just like we are, and it's gonna be a battle of titans, and I can't wait for it. The college game day is gonna be there, big noon kickoff's gonna be there if everything goes to plan, and yeah, that should be an epic game. Excited to think about what I might be doing for that, whether I'm gonna be in Chicago, whether I'm gonna be in Bloomington. Will be an epic day. I think it would be pretty fun to go to Old Crow, which is like the big Ohio State bar out here in Chicago. It would be kind of fun. Would be fun. That's all I got.
The next week, Brad, you are talking up this Nebraska, obviously the Nebraska road matchup, road environment. So I'm not going to disrespect them by saying this, but at Michigan, coming off the Ohio State game, it's not going to be the opening of the Kyle Whittingham era, which we anticipated it being, but this is the hardest 2-game stretch of the Indiana football schedule. Home for Ohio State, at Michigan, heading to the Big House for the first time in the Kurt Signetti era. Brad, how does it make you feel today?
Excited. Thinking about going to that game, already in early talks to go. Exciting stuff. Yeah, looking forward to that one. Bryce Underwood might throw 4 picks.
Can we talk about the fact that he didn't have a quarterbacks coach this year?
Is that true?
Yes.
What do you mean? Who ran the position drills?
I don't know. Question for the Michigan fans. But yeah, that's absolutely like one of the biggest things.
They gave him so much money, they didn't have enough money to pay the quarterback. They fucked up. They're doing it wrong. So I say Daddy's man does it right.
And then the last, Indiana opens the season playing 9 straight games. There is no 2 bye weeks this year, only one. Indiana's bye week is week 10. So the 9th game in a row, Indiana returns home to take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. You talked about a trap game before. I'm not like the line for this game is going to be hilarious when it comes out eventually. But I'm like, to me, that's a trap game.
I like PJ Fleck, always will. I heard he's on the hot seat somehow. If he gets fired, he's going to land another Power 4 job, just letting you know, Minnesota faithful. Those teams always play hard. They're going to have enough talent to be competitive. But they're probably going to go against they're going up against the reigning national champs. So it's going to be a tough test for them on the road for them to face the Hoosiers. So good luck to the Gophers. Actually, no, I'm not going to say good luck to the Gophers. Fuck that. But yeah, that's usually a game where I'd be like trying to figure out ways to see a path for Minnesota, but we're just going to be the better team at home going into that game. It's going to be as simple as that.
I agree. Coming off the bye week, really, really exciting matchup. If I'm going to Bloomington this year, that's probably the game I'm circling. USC travels to Bloomington for the first time in the Big Ten era, probably for the first time ever. I'm not going to I'm assuming USC has never been to Bloomington. So, Brad, the California native, the Pasadena native, you've hated USC for a lot longer than most of our fan base. So, how do you feel about this November 14th matchup with the Trojans?
I wonder if they're going to bring their band. That'll be interesting if they do that. Whoa, where'd he go? Anyways, USC, fight on, Trojans. One of the 3 teams that we're playing that have won a national title in the modern era. So anything, in my mind, anything before 1998, before the national title game was born in college football. Also, the year I was born, so it kind of just works for my own narrative. One of three teams that we're playing that has won a national title. That's a slight at Nebraska, by the way. That Nebraska has not won a title in the modern era. Yeah, so in that sense, like USC is a modern blue blood. Like they are going to be a team that's going to have tons of talent. They have Lincoln Riley, an offense that's reeling, a program that's been going up and up and up. Not as fast as maybe a lot of USC fans would have liked, but they're a team that continues to progress year in and year out, and they're a team looking to make a playoff run next year. I haven't looked at USC's schedule, but that game could be a battle of undefeateds in November. Could be an epic matchup when the stars align. USC is one of the cooler road unis as well. Can't wait to see that. Battle of red on red helmets should be interesting. Could be a great game to debut the white helmets at home, maybe. I don't know. Could be fun. But anyways,
if you think we're wearing anything other than the uniforms we wore for the last 2 years, you're out of your mind.
Probably.
I don't even know if the material is going to get better.
And if you think I'm in my mind, you're out of your mind. How about that? Boom.
Well, that's a good point. Brad, the next week is the road game I think most Hoosier fans are circling. I've personally never been to the state of Washington. I've never sailgated before, but it seems like it'd be an unreal experience. The Hoosiers travel out to Washington to take on the Huskies, our fellow Michael Penix Jr. appreciators on November 21st. Do you have that game circled? I know you talked about being at the big house. What are your thoughts on going to Washington for the first time?
Well, I have family in Seattle as a West Coast guy, naturally. Yeah, that's a game that I'm definitely circling in terms of going to. I try to go out to all the way for unforeseen circumstances. I wasn't able to make it to the Oregon game this past year, breaking my streak of West Coast games to 1. So looking to get right back on track this upcoming year. Going to Seattle this year. Demon Williams, who's coming back after a lot of LSU rumors, things like that. A lot of LSU tampering allegations as well. Jed Fish has his quarterback back. They still have Ryan Walters. They're going to have a decent defense. They should be looking to build upon what they were doing this past year, as they were a solid top 25 level team as we try to eliminate the SEC bias and try to point out that, hey, like Illinois, Iowa, Washington, USC, those are all top 25 quality teams last year, and they just don't get the same amount of respect as maybe a random 9-3 SEC team, right? So will be a tough matchup. They have the tornado sirens after touchdowns. It's a very cool environment. I've never been to that stadium. Well, I've never been to that stadium for a game, but I have ran onto the field when it's empty, actually. Fun fact. Yeah, so that's cool. It'll be cool to kind of see people in the stands of that stadium for the first time. Planning on going. So, yeah, go Hoosiers.
Big time. And then obviously Indiana ends the season like they end every season. It's the bucket game. They get to host Purdue. Last time Purdue walked into Memorial Stadium, they got blanked 66-0. They better hope they made some improvements in the offseason, year 2 in the Odom era. They have some more experience coming back, so we'll see. They could surprise some people. What are your thoughts on Purdue to close out the 2026 regular season slate?
Little brother, I hope they're going into that game with 6 wins to make it interesting, but, we'll see. We'll see. 122-3 the past 2 years. Yeah.
Not much more to say there.
It might not even matter what they do. It might just not matter at all.
Yeah, it's obviously it's way too early to talk about win predictions and win totals, especially when rosters
Is
aren't
that a
even
game
set.
where it's like we only win by 20? People are like, "What the hell is Cincinnati doing? The hell?"
Took it easy. But right now, LSU on FanDuel is over under 9.5 at -108. And if that same number comes out for this Indiana Hoosiers team, I'm not a gambler, Brad. I'm not a huge gambler, but I will definitely be taking that future.
The over. Wait, what would you say the win total was at?
No, I said right now they have LSU at 9.5, and if that same number comes for Indiana,
With this schedule, yeah, I mean it's just sick. Like they drop one of the games they're not supposed to drop, like they're gonna make it up. Like you know what I mean? Like that's how I see this team. We're gonna call out the Big Four like we always do. It's gonna be Ohio State, Michigan, USC, Washington. Nebraska's a really tough fifth hardest game on the road there. So probably our hardest schedule yet. Looking at it from
easily.
afar. But in all likelihood, could be our best team talent-wise yet. So will be interesting to see. It's all about the boys executing how they're going to attack winter workouts. And we're going to be covering it all. How they're going to attack winter workouts, spring ball, fall camp, summer workouts, of course. And yeah, just can't wait to see what the boys are able to cook up this upcoming year. And it's love seeing the graphic. Landino, Ro Hardy, Carter Smith. Who is that? Kobe Martin, Charlie Chucky B, and Amari Farrell. Cornerstones of this program all coming back. Yeah, can't wait.
Absolutely love it. I want to jump into the smoke, Brad, but I also just want to take the chance. We had some hot takes going into 2025, and I tweeted out the video of one of them. But we did pretty good. I got to be honest. Do you want me to run them down real quick, or should I just push
them
people
down?
to the
Sure,
video?
you wrote them down, and my hot takes are probably gone now. I didn't save those because I kept my little notebook, and I already just took out all the pages, and all I have is this one little sheet where my depth chart is. You can see that there? No, it's not popping out, but whatever.
I did. Yeah. I said, ready? I said my first hot take was Indiana leads the nation in offense. They had 2 800-yard rushers and 1 500-yard rusher. That was check. 2 1,000-yard receivers. Neither Coop or Surratt got there, but the emergence of Charlie Becker and the way they spread the ball around and the fact that those guys missed time. And then Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman and has 40 passing touchdowns. He won the Heisman. He did have 40 passing touchdowns. He didn't have it before he won the Heisman. So I guess I get a half a point there. So I don't know if that doesn't count because I said they're going to lead the nation in offense, but the fact that I called 2 800-plus yard rushers plus the 500-yard rusher plus the Mendoza Heisman, I feel like that's a nice. That gets a check.
I think we are the OGs of calling. We've been on that. We are the first ones on this shit. So anyone who wants to say otherwise is wrong. We were the first ones to call out how we're going to win the national title. Might not happen in 2025, but it's going to happen eventually, and it happened a lot sooner than anyone could have anticipated. But by the time we saw that Oregon game, we knew this team was more than – it was almost like after the Oregon game, is like, okay, this is the only thing in our way is Ohio State. Like that was like I feel like the overarching like feeling of the season going into that.
Well, you started off hot too, Brad, because
our hot takes are as high as they get. I called Fernando Andrew Luck in April. I'm altering that. I think he's Andrew Luck in Jared Goff's body after watching him for a full season. So very similar, you know. But yeah, he's yeah, I was on it. I'll give
your first hot take, Brad, was we beat Oregon by 10 plus.
Yeah, there we go.
One for Brad. Put it on the board. There was a Ro Hardy pick 6 thrown in there. We didn't get the Ro Hardy pick 6, but Oregon 10 plus. Calling that in, I think we did this in August, end of August. I think the 25th is when we released this. My second hot take was we beat 2 of Iowa, Oregon, Penn State by 10, and that was not correct. And it wasn't the 2 teams that I would have figured if that wasn't going to be correct, it'd be because we didn't beat Oregon by 10. And we beat Oregon by 10. It was the other 2 teams that we did. So
funny how it works.
Brad, your second hot take was Indiana wins the Joe Moore Award, and while they didn't win it, they were finalists.
I was shocked they didn't win it this year. I was shocked.
So
I was utterly bamboozled and shocked that they didn't win the Joe Moore Award. Iowa, very deserving. Great offensive line. We saw it ourselves when they played us. Very deserving of that award, but I was still shocked that we didn't get it because, I mean, we put the twos in the fourth quarter most of the season like we did in Alabama. I don't think that happens to the best O-line in the country. Quite honest.
Brad, my next hot take was Indiana was going to have over 5.5 All-Americans. Again, like these seem ridiculous now when you look back at this Indiana football season and look at how much talent they had, and hindsight being 2020, but smashed over 5.5 All-Americans.
Yeah. Between all the different All-American honors they give out there, so many guys. This team's about to have projected 12 NFL draft picks. I was trying to tell you in the offseason. They have tons of NFL talent, legit guys. Maybe I didn't have it as high as 12, but I was fucking on it.
And maybe they weren't the right guys because your next hot take was Amari Farrell's top 40 in the NFL draft. And it's because Amari's coming back.
Yeah, there we go.
And Farrell and Pons to have 10 plus interceptions did not happen either.
Yeah, because Lou Moore took them all. You know? I thought Amari would be the one getting all the picks, so I guess it was Lou. Lou got all the picks.
Yep.
I read that wrong. My bad.
I said Indiana would beat 7+ teams by 21+. The final number, I believe, was 10.
Wow.
You said that Surratt would be a Bolitnikov, and then you paused for 6 seconds, and then you said finalist.
Because Jeremiah Smith, people don't understand how I'm
even
a
win
receiver. I'm a big Jeremiah Smith fan. I think he is going to be the greatest wide receiver to ever play. As long as everything goes right, he stays healthy, and he does he puts in the work. There is no reason why that guy won't be better than Julio Jones. There is no reason. Anyways.
You also had Kamara over 16.5 sacks, and obviously Kamara didn't have the statistical season in terms of that stat that he wanted to have, but super impactful. I believe he led the country or led the conference in pressures. And then I
felt that was a steep one because
you were I was make it 20, and then you were then we started looking at the numbers and
the eye test in terms of how the Brian Haynes scheme works. It's team sacks. It's all about team sacks. It's not about one guy getting all the sacks.
These are hot takes, Brad. These are hot takes. Your original prediction was 45 team sacks. I pushed you to go more. You had 50. They had 46.
Fucking asshole.
And then the last one was I had Indiana as the #1 seed in the college football playoff.
Oh, baby. Let's go.
Smash that one. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Absolutely love it.
My dumbass put him at 6.
Let's talk some smoke. We're gonna
try too hard to be bipartisan in this shit, you know?
Oh, listen, that's why I felt all year when I'm projecting these to be 10 to 14 point games and they beat these teams by 25, 30. It's all right, I guess we're just a little too disrespectful.
I try to cover this I'm an actual national cover guy. I'm covering the national scheme. I'm not gonna I try to eliminate my Indiana bias. Maybe I go a little too far in that. A little bit. So I apologize. But I never not believe that they could win a national title. Let's get that fucking straight.
we're gonna speed run the smoke, Brad, because we're gonna cover who's out because the transfer portal is officially closed. No player can leave this team anymore unless unless I think there's a coaching change or there's you drop out or the transfer portal is closed, and the extended period for the teams who played in the college football playoff, the final, that's closed, and so the 2026, the guys who are in the room right now are in the room. Now they can still add to the room, right? This is something that I learned when the transfer portal closed is guys can still commit and they can commit whenever. So I not only am I not ruling out that they're going to add to this team, but I think it's inevitable that they add. I don't know what the official scholarship count is, but we're going to get up to that limit. So I'm not ready to call the roster done by any means, but we're going to get into who's out, who's in, say goodbye to the seniors, say goodbye to the guys transferring, say hello to the guys coming in, to the freshmen, all that good stuff.
We could do a whole episode on just senior goodbyes.
The original title of this episode was Who's Out, and then you were like, let's do Who's In tonight too, and I was like, okay, if you're down for that, let's do it.
We'll see if we can fit it in.
Who's out, who's in?
We're gonna give true, because if we're gonna go over every senior that left, then okay, maybe we're only doing Who's Out today. and we'll do who's in next week. Anyways, we'll adjust.
We're going to speed run the smoke. I put Bones Jones basketball highlights on the timeline this week, Brad. Did you see him?
No, I did not. Are you serious?
Yeah, I got to go back and give – I really should have gave credit to the person who actually posted them. I just like did the Twitter thing where you like long press and then post the video. And like for whatever reason, if you go online to like x.com or whatever and go to Twitter and scroll through, it shows you like who posted the original video, but on mobile it doesn't do that anymore. So
is his highlights like him? Is he pulling up jump shot guy, or is he like?
It's three different. It's like a reverse layup and it's 2 threes. I think that's.
I just picture him just getting every fucking rebound and getting an easy putback every single.
He just looks like a young Isaiah Jones.
Walking 2010 in high school, that Isaiah Jones.
Josh Pate, Sarah McLaughlin clowned himself, which again, if you're going to be as vocal as somebody like Josh Pate is, and you're going to claim to be somebody who wants to be the commissioner of college football, the way he picked against Indiana all year dictated that in order to get back into the good graces of Indiana fans, you had to do something to make yourself look like an idiot. And so I personally appreciated the gesture from Josh Pate. Obviously, he's somebody who understands what it means to be a media personality in the college football landscape, and the fact that he was not only able to laugh at himself, but put out that like he knows how many times he's going to see that Josh Pate and the clown nose picture. Like it's going to be a billion times, but to do that for the Indiana football fans to get back in the good graces, I personally appreciated that. I don't know if you saw it, Brad.
I did see it, and I remember seeing it live. I'm like, hey, that's why I always liked Josh Pate. Always did. Never swayed from it. I know he was critical of Indiana. He was doubtful. He wasn't quite convinced that he was still in the thinking mindset that the SEC is the SEC, right? And I think he's finally come around that, the Big Ten might be even superior to the SEC at this point, not just equal. And, I echo your sentiment. Fully appreciate him doing that. I think he has absolute class in terms of owning when he is wrong. I think he's the best in the business at that, actually. And like I'll throw Brandon Walker in there too. He's the same way. Yeah. He gave Indiana some flowers, but
he's
not at the level. He didn't put a clown nose on.
Brandon Walker knows what he's doing. He's not as dumb as people make him out to be, and you don't go as viral. I mean, maybe you do.
Pate is a ball knower, and I respect him, and I appreciate that he did that. He admitted when he was wrong. I think more people need to do that.
I agree. Did you see who the highest graded player in the national championship was?
Was it Jamari Sharp?
No, it was the other cornerback. It was D'Angelo Pons.
There we go.
Yep. Who accepted his Senior Bowl invite. It was announced that he's not playing. Kalon Black, this is a good place to mention. Kalon Black, I know we were just talking about Pons and being the highest graded player in the national championship. And that kid, if he's not a top 40 draft pick, like what the hell are we doing? Should be a first round pick. I don't run NFL teams, like whatever. When you look at the NFL and you understand how incompetent 12 of the franchises are, like the rest of it makes sense to look at the league. But the fact that Kalon Black is at the Senior Bowl practicing right now is utterly insane. Markel Bell too, Markel Bell got ran over in one of the drills, and like the fact that dude's out there like after playing a 16-game season as an offensive lineman is also insane. But shout out to Kalon Black, who's just out there proving that he wants it more than you do, and that guy's awesome. Love watching that guy play.
Yeah, I hope it gets him a draft pick, not just because he will make you can't
Senior invite,
like he's old and like he's probably gonna only play like 4 years in the league before he's probably got to hang him up. But the fact of the matter is he deserves those 4 years in the league. He's gonna make a roster.
I'm not putting self-imposed limitations on what Kalon Black can accomplish.
I'm just saying historically running backs really don't age past 30, and he's 25. That's all I'm saying. It'd be insane if he played longer than that. It just doesn't happen. Like, NFL, like, you take hits in college. Now you're taking hits at the NFL, a grown man league. It just wears on you. It's not anything he can really do about it. He will make a roster, and I hope instead of him being undrafted free agent, him just appearing in that it makes him deserving of a 6th or a 7th round pick, which he is. He can make a roster and give you some burn as the RB3 on an NFL team for sure. No doubt in my mind.
Absolutely. Well, Pons getting an invite to the Senior Bowl as a true junior unbelievably impressive. Shows you what the league thinks of him and that they want to see him compete against those guys. And I thought it was funny that everyone's favorite non-Hoosier quarterback, Diego Pavia, got officially measured at the Senior Bowl, and he was basically the same size as D'Angelo Ponce.
So funny.
Absolutely insane. I want to take this time to shout out Edward Catone, who he put out like I hope that these edits have been given like 0.000 however many zeros he put in, like percent of joy. Like the edits that dude with the extended highlights he releases every week are one of the best.
I need to go back and watch a lot of them.
They are so unbelievable. I have all of them saved. Like I use his videos constantly. The White Boy of the Year Charlie Becker video was Edward Catone. Like he is so unbelievably talented, good at what he does. Like the fact that he has clips for all of these things and like understands not only what the meme is, but how to use it and how to chain these things together. And it so unbelievably impressive. And the production, like for it being a meme-esque video, the production of it, and it unbelievably impressive. And I personally, for my enjoyment and entertainment, hope he keeps doing them. But if he decided to retire it after 2020, like after this season, I'm not sure how you top this season in terms of get like the ability to dunk on people. But yeah, shout out to Edward Catone. Definitely deserves all the flowers he gets. And yeah, along with the Don Fisher recap videos and the Cuban Center team crushed that again this week. Definitely one of the like highlights of the week for sure.
Yeah, Catone is one of the best, is my favorite content creator in our IU Twitterverse. With those videos, they give me so much joy to watch after we smack around Maryland or UCLA or something like that, and all the memes that come out of it.
Actually, I think he didn't do Maryland because he felt bad, and somebody else stepped up and made one for Maryland.
That's funny. Wow. All right, I need to do my homework. But yeah, I want to go back and like rewatch those videos. That's how much I enjoy them.
Yeah, we have a lot of awesome creators on the Indiana football Twitter space. Another one, actually, funny enough, I have it written down in my notes as a bite-sized Bison stat that Nico Radicic set the single season record for highest field goal percentage in program history. Bite-sized Bison hung it up after creating content for as long as he's been doing it. I ordered my official national championship IFAP that hasn't arrived yet, obviously, because of the weather, but from B-Town Moose, who puts those together every week, and that's been unbelievably entertaining. The Kirkwood and Dunn guys, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago, have been crushing what Trent is doing with videos off both his account and the Kirkwood and Dunn account. Unbelievably impressive. Like the Purdue Groundhogs Day one that those guys released yesterday was unbelievably hilarious. Like,
yeah,
the fact that the spotlight is now firmly on Indiana University and this fan base that didn't exist and like isn't passionate enough, it doesn't support their team, is being able to show off in the way it is. And like people like Edward Catone and people like Bite Size Bison finally getting their flowers, and people like Crimson Cast, who I thought Galen had probably the best explanation of what it's been like to be an Indiana football fan in the last 2 years. To be a part of that, like the All For You pod guys dropped today too. And like for us to be a part of that as Sigs Inside first, and that was Indiana Hoosiers Live, has been unbelievably fun. And just like again, to spotlight the creators in the Indiana football space, like they're having their fun in the sun right now, and a lot of these guys are really, really damn good at it.
They deserve it. I'm trying not to go sentimental, but like Indiana's always been at the level of like a Michigan, Ohio State, any of those SEC schools, like in terms of just being passionate for the sports that they have. Like, you ever been to an IU soccer game? It's insane. It's crazy. We show out for our sports, and it never really got highlighted because it was really like about soccer most of the time, and like basketball wasn't where it probably should be, and football obviously never was even a thought until Pam Whitten and Scott Dolson and Signetti showed up, right? And yeah, I there's not a fan base that's more deserving, more passionate, more knowledgeable about their sports, and not only that, to top it all off, it's probably the largest in numbers. It's just the scary thing for everyone else, which is why we're going to stay good. The money's going to keep rolling in, and I think someone described it super well. Like, yeah, we have some billionaires around for sure, but I think what really helps is us having that largest alumni base. And you get 50K here, 100K there, 10K here, another 10K there. That shit adds up real quick. And having that is a huge advantage to us, and having a fan base that is passionate about the sports is big, because like you can be like, Stanford and Vanderbilt, like are they Northwestern, like sure they have rich alumni, but are they going to invest in their alma mater's athletics department as opposed to an Indiana I'm going to give UT Texas a shot. They're going to stick around because they're the same way. One of the largest alumni bases in the country, and they are just as passionate about football and basketball as we are. So definitely going to be Indiana's here to stay. We've said this over and over again, and shout out our fans.
I can put some numbers behind that, Brad, because our freshman class for Kelly was 7,000 kids, and that was the largest in school history. And then the next year's freshman class was, that was ours. And that was back in 2017. And the next year's class was bigger than that. And when I went back in 2021, I remember being in an Uber and the Uber driver telling me that Indiana wanted to increase their student population so that they pushed into like 50,000 and wanted to be one of the bigger schools in the country. And I'm thinking this guy's crazy. And now I'm watching the results of generating the largest living alumni base in the country, and the fact that everybody can, even if everybody gives $1, you know what I mean? Like that's a significant amount. Everybody's giving $1 every month. Like that adds up really quickly. And when you talk about just the sheer numbers of it, like, yeah, there's a lot of us, and we are very passionate and we all care. And it's funny to watch like the Notre Dame fans freak out and like call people bandwagoners, but Indiana's gaining market share. They're gaining fans. Like you look at the reverse jackets that are flipping their jacket back inside and wearing cream and crimson, and a lot of those people are Notre Dame football fans that now have a reason to root for Indiana and aren't forced or pigeonholed into rooting for the one team in the state that was good at football. Like there's now options, and you're seeing a lot of people drift towards the Hoosiers, and I don't think that's an accident, Brad. It's really, really fun to be an Indiana Hoosier right now.
There's something Curt Cignetti said very early on. You give a large state institution the foundation to be successful, it will, the possibilities are endless, right? It's not a large state, but it's an entire state that can get behind one school, right? And Notre Dame's more of a national brand, right? Like I think a lot of their fans don't live in the state of Indiana, if we're going to keep it 100. So, that's our state. Notre Dame could move to a different location and it would still be the same. Wouldn't be the case for Indiana. It's our state. They just rent a place up there in South Bend. Money in our pockets for the state, right? And yeah, when it goes right towards Cignetti's contract, he's the highest paid state employee.
And I like when businesses around the state give back to the university, and obviously Chipotle and Curt Cignetti we've seen have this partnership, and they've released the Cignetti Bowl, and people were freaking out like, I can't believe Cignetti's Bowl ordered diabolical order. Guys, it's chicken, rice, beans with the side of guacamole. Like I'm not even sure sorry, Chipotle, don't listen to this. I don't even think he's getting it because it's Chipotle. I literally think it's the most convenient way to get rice and beans and chicken. You know what I mean? Like, do you know you understand what I mean? It's like find rice and beans and chicken, and like it's got like tastes the same, and like I don't even have to think about it. But Chipotle did an awesome thing where they every single person in the state of Indiana felt like was able to show up and get buy one get one because of Cignetti and the Hoosiers.
You want to know why Chipotle is good? Why Chipotle is so popular? It's not because Chipotle is like really good. Like this is sidebar about Chipotle real quick. Sidebar. Chipotle is really good. Not because like obviously it's good, like it's fine, like it's food.
You better watch your words now.
Yeah, I love Chipotle. I eat it all the time. But the main reason why they're so successful is that it's the easiest, most convenient way to get 1,500 calories into your system, like that. In a like that's not like in an unhealthy way. That's why Chipotle is great, and that's why Cignetti does it. It's fuel, man. That's it.
Exactly.
That's simple.
I want to shout out Coach John Miller and Coach Justice Ellison. When you have 2 1,000-yard rushers on the football team, when you have 1 500-yard rusher, and Lee Beebe was going to be a massive contributor to this football team too. Look at what that running back room did this year. Those guys deserve all the flowers, and it's been cool to see them get it from the Indiana football fans because we've talked about passion, like people like Hoosier Commish and the following he has, and like putting the spotlight on individuals on the team and coaches and things like that. But those guys in particular did an unbelievable job coaching up their room, and 2 guys that the mainstream doesn't really hear much about.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, they deserve all their flowers. 2,000-yard rushers, definitely helped by a 16-game season, but nonetheless, something that hasn't been accomplished in college football in a very long time, if my memory is correct. Yeah, a huge accomplishment. Black and Hemby will be forever remembered. But shout out Tyson Lawton and Justice Allison. They got it all started. Who will be the next great running back duo at Indiana this upcoming year? Stay tuned. Indiana Hoosiers.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It was really cool to watch Indiana fans explain what this means, what winning a championship means to them. There was a couple that had season tickets for 60 years that couldn't even remember the date that they first had their season tickets. There was stories of families that like, oh, I'll go out to the Rose Bowl next time we make it. And then we never made it before the family member passed away, and talking about like writing letters and stuff and sharing Rose Bowl experiences. Hoosier Speaker wrote an unbelievably beautiful piece about his grandfather and his connection to Indiana football and Indiana athletics. Kobe Fleming was another one who wrote a really nice piece about his connection to the university and athletics as well. Like for a fan base that people continually say has no fans, it's been unbelievably heartwarming. I've laughed and cried a bunch of times over the last couple of weeks, like watching people explain what this means to them. And so if you haven't had the chance to go read some of those, definitely go check those out.
And we've had some sentimental spews myself on this show. Are you going to clip those, or like, I don't know, what are we going to do?
I'll listen. There are no excuses. I need to go and just manually clip those. But
my rant after the Rose Bowl, I feel like deserves a clip. You know what it meant to me, and like and I feel like a lot of other. Obviously, it was different for me being a Pasadena native, but I feel like Indiana Hoosiers felt
the job search. The job search, if it doesn't kill me, will result in me getting a job. So it's been grinding, but I'll get to clipping. I promise. Upland Chipotle wasn't the only person only business to honor Curt Cignetti. Did you see what Upland Bruco released the sickest like 2025 championship like memorial cans that I hope they ship out of state because I need a case of those. But they also gave Curt Cignetti free beer for life.
As they should. He plugs them all the time. He plugged them during his national championship presser.
He called it Hoosier beer. It's not even the name of it.
Yeah, he called out Upland Brewing Company about it. He did mention them. So shout out. He deserves a free beer for life. He only drinks 2 at a time, so it's not going to be anything crazy. He drinks 2 and he falls asleep. So, don't have to worry about don't have to worry about Sig going all sark on us. You know what I mean?
Oh, God. Come on.
If you know, you know.
Come on. No, Sark's he's doing well. Sark, good for Sark.
He's doing well now. The USC
apologize to Colin McMahon, Brad. Huh? People need to apologize to Colin McMahon, who went on an Indiana message board and called Indiana one of the greatest teams of all time around Christmas and caught a lot of shit for it. Yeah, so shout out to Colin.
The only team in the forward pass era to go 16-0. Talk to a wall. How about that?
Yep. It's being rewarded, Brad. There have been sponsorship deals out the ass for this Indiana Hoosiers team. There was the C4 Group 1 for Pons and Fisher and Surratt and Hemby. Pons himself has been racking in the deals. He had Amazon. I forget what else he was doing. He was all over the place. But the fact that national brands are starting to recognize, like Dr. Pepper has been all over the guys, and obviously Fernando was everywhere, and you couldn't go somewhere and not see Fernando Mendoza's face in the last week. I personally love that those guys are finally getting that recognition that we've been saying they deserve from the national audience for the entire season. And for 2 years, talking about the way these guys conduct themselves, it's really cool to see this success parlay itself into mainstream recognition. So shout out to the guys.
Yeah, shouts to the guys. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't get Fernando off your TV screen. You just signed that LinkedIn deal. Shout out. That was inevitable. That was so inevitable. You're going to see him on a Super Bowl commercial before you know it, doing LinkedIn like, hi, I'm Fernando Mendoza, type shit. And, yeah, I mean, he deserves all the glory. The Jimmy Fallon spot was awesome. A little scripted, typical Fernando, but good to kind of see him, like, be a real person, and people just understand like it's impossible to not root for this kid, and he's going to go to the Raiders, and I really hope they give him the support and the structure that he'll need to succeed, because he's super talented, and franchises, aka departments in the company that is the NFL, fail quarterbacks more than any other position. Fail quarterbacks more than quarterbacks fail them. That's the reality, and you're seeing it with Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. That's the greatest example there is. Former Jet. Shout out your New York Jets, Keezer. Sorry about that. But
no need for that.
I'm sorry. That was a low blow. But yeah, I hope Tom Brady and company figure out a way to set up Fernando for success, and whether that means bringing in Chandler Whitmer, whether that means they don't even have a head coach yet, so they got to figure some things out and fix up that O-line, which is atrocious. And a good thing for Mendoza is that he's used to having a bad O-line back in his Cal days, so he should be up to the challenge. Could be kind of used to it. Could be a rough rookie year for him, but I will say for any Raider fans watching, be patient, wait for the structure to come. That kid with the right system is a franchise quarterback. There's no doubt in my mind he's a top 32 quarterback in the world. Just got to figure it out and set him up for success. I mean, have you seen him throw a ball? Like, have you ever seen him throw a ball and it's like not a perfect spiral? Have you ever seen it? I haven't. So
no, actually, that's a very hilarious way to put it. Every time the ball comes out of his hand, even if it's not a good throw,
that's how I knew he was Andrew Luck, man. That's how I knew. The tight spiral, he's the whole package. He's got the brains, he's got the work ethic, he's a great teammate, great leader, and he's got the physical attributes and the intangibly rich attributes that you look for in any player. He's a bona fide number one, would go number one in most drafts. Yeah, that's all I got to say on that.
I want to shout out the best damn warrior in the land, Brian P. Lawton, who was with Indiana Hoosier national champion Lewis Moore at the Shrine Bowl down in Dallas this past week. Put up a picture on Twitter, which was awesome to see those guys together. Two Hoosier legends in their own right. So shout out to the best damn warrior in the land. And I don't want to make any promises, but we will speak to him again on this platform. That'll be a prediction. I'll make a prediction. Is we'll talk to him again this offseason, and that'll be exciting.
We're gonna talk to him about IU hoops a little bit, maybe. You know what I mean?
We'll set up. We'll set up a meeting. Me and you will set up a meeting to talk about eligibility for Lamar and what we can do for these guys.
He has no case, Brian Pilon. Figure it out.
That's not for us to decide whether or not he has a case. That's for the best damn lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer.
I'm definitely not a lawyer. I'm definitely not the best damn lawyer in the land. That is Brian P. Lawton. So shout out to Brian. Signetti. I was gonna say, speaking of Brian's, Signetti won the Bear Bryant Award, Coach of the Year. He talked about winning a national championship doesn't put him in the same breath as where he wants to be as the Bear Bryants, the Nick Sabans, etc. Because those guys won multiple. But to pick up that award obviously is a really huge deal. So shout out to Kurt Signetti.
Well deserved. He's well on his way. He's got 7 more years on his current deal, so we'll see
which is going to get.
I think one thing in his post-game presser that really stuck out to me, where it's like, he's getting old. Like his contract's going to be up when he's 72, I believe, which is pretty old. Pretty old to be working. But then he's like, maybe I'd retire, and that could be a big story. But then he's like, what would I do? It's like. I'm like, yeah, Sig, what would you do? I don't know, man.
You just spend the whole time watching film anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
I think football AD, like a Barry Alvarez type move, like Wisconsin did.
GM, Brad, what are you talking about?
In the card, GM football AD type title.
You don't even have to go out to the field. You can just sit there and watch film the entire time
and find our guys,
and then game plan. Are you kidding me? That guy could do that until he's 900.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll be around.
Like we're there's pills and stuff, Brad. Like they're Indiana University, IU Health, who jersey sponsors are now a thing in college football. That guy approved, and so like maybe we'll see IU Health on a jersey. We never know what we're spinning up and what people are engineering. So I'm not going to be like, who knows when Kurt Signetti stops coaching. And then speaking of 7 more, Charlie Becker had 7 special teams tackles this year. I believe he led the team. And he was also the best receiver in FBS football since week 11 of the college football season. And so when I tweeted out that can we finally admit that it's disrespectful to compare Charlie Becker to Alec Pierce? A lot of people got upset and they're like, look at Alec Pierce. Like, he had an unbelievable year and he's going to get $25 million. Alec Pierce is not a first round wide receiver. I'm sorry. And that's just reality. And Charlie Becker is. So
yeah. Are we going to play our first round receiver at gunner this next year?
We might.
I say it's a coin flip. Honestly, no one's sick.
D'Angelo Bonds was playing gunner. He's going to be a top 40 pick. Aiden Fisher was playing special teams. Like, that dude's going to be should be a second round, third round draft pick. Like, there's a reason why those guys, like, we had 5 guys, I believe, that could have played at the Shrine Bowl, and none of those guys are playing. And I think I'm not sure if Lewis is down there or not. But I think the reason is because especially a guy like Aiden Fisher put on tape, that guy could play linebacker in the NFL. Like, that guy should not have any worries about getting drafted. Like,
so many guys. We'll break down the upcoming draft class coming in for Indiana. Lots of starters on that team. Lots of day one guys. Talking Lou, talking Aiden Fisher, talking Kamara, Wyatt and Daly might even be day one starters in the league. Pons, obviously. I haven't even started on offense yet.
Oh, yeah.
Pons
plays defense.
Yeah.
They'll be fooled by the one catch.
Lots of good day one start.
Cooper is picking up so much buzz in the fantasy community, and these guys haven't even watched him run yet. Like, the comp that he's been getting over and over again from the guys I've seen is Rashee Rice, and I think that's just so wrong in so many ways. Like, he's not the zone sitter Rice is. Like, he different like game feel, but he's also way more physical,
better
faster,
tackle,
way better hands, better, like, way 1,000 times better head on his shoulders. Like, Tim, and it's funny that I'm going to say that and then compare him to this guy, but like, I'm looking up like guys like, okay, who runs this fast and who is doing this and who's this big, and Brandon Ayuk is the guy who I came back to.
No. Different guys. He's more like a Debo. I know you hate that comp because the measurables aren't the same, but he plays like Debo. He does. He's a yak guy. Makes people miss, whether that's a juke or just a shedded tackle.
30% missed tackle rate or missed tackles forced for Omar Cooper, which is number 1 amongst wide receivers in the draft class.
Exactly. Yeah. Very, very Debo-esque in that regard. That's why I like the Debo comp for him.
That's fair. Well, I think if you watch Ayuk's Arizona State stuff, it's just like he was bigger and faster than everybody in the pack, and so he's
that's not Coop to me, to be honest.
But
like,
put Omar Cooper in the pack, because Ayuk was clocked. Coop was clocked at 21.1 miles per hour against Kennesaw State, and I think Ayuk's top speed was like 21.9.
Okay, fair enough. Ayuk's a freak.
No, very much so. And I watched Ayuk's highlights, and I'm like, maybe not. Like, He's somewhere in between those guys, but it's like he's his own player. But to your point,
exactly.
though,
that's how you know the guy's special. He's his own guy. Like, you can try if you can't comp a guy, it's probably because he's a little special. You know, he's probably.
But Rashee Rice is not the comp for him, and he's has easily worked his way, at least in the minds of the dynasty fantasy community, into the second round of the NFL draft, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, great. So well deserving, because we were talking about how Coop and Surratt were the most disrespected wide receiver duo in the offseason. And to finally see them get their flowers, where they're both going to go, top 100. I will just call it conservatively top 100. Could even be top 60, top 40 for those guys. Yeah. Once again, we were right. Once again. Master of the eye test at you live.
I think the biggest catalyst for this season, Brad, that I can't believe we haven't mentioned yet, is the fact that Brian Haynes' daughter, Gracie Bear, is undefeated as an Indiana Hoosiers fan. So shout out to Gracie Bear. There's a really cool, I think, write-up or something about her from the Broyles Award around the national championship game, which was awesome. And obviously, like, to see the two of them together, and I believe she was even at the national championship celebration, which is insane because it was so cold there. But her relationship, like her and Brian Haynes' relationship, is incredible. And yeah, undefeated Gracie Bear.
I have a friend who has a daughter named Nalita Alvarado. She might even be watching this right now. So hi, Nalita. Hi. Shout out 27-2 as a child, as a person,
as a fan,
as an IU fan, and 2 World Series titles with the Dodgers. So keep it up. Let's go.
A lot of winning. Lots and
hell
lots
yeah.
of winning.
Good luck to them.
Did you see the Fernando Mendoza, the Spanish call for the touchdown run?
Yeah. For Mendoza. That was the best.
Absolutely incredible.
So
It was
good,
electric.
man. I actually rewatched that video multiple times. Actually, I had to pull it up. I was showing it to people. That's how in tune I was to that one.
30.1 million people watched the national championship. And again, these numbers don't include streaming. So if you were watching it on a streaming service, that doesn't count. 30.1 million people. Indiana also played in 4 of the 10 most watched football games of the season and played in the top 2 most watched football games this year. So anybody who tells you Indiana football is not worth watching or nobody pays attention to them, just show them that graphic.
It doesn't even count for. Does it account for the people at the bars where there's like,
I think there are like
TV
metrics
for like 20, 30 people, right? Like,
I don't know how Nielsen rating and like metrics like that work, but all I know is that was the most watched football game of the year.
Yeah.
For college.
As it should be. The national title game. It was the best game of the year, too. It was an unreal game. Unreal football game. Had everything you ever wanted. Same with the Ohio State game. Just an unreal football game. High-level stuff being played.
Seeing the guys coming off the national championship, like we talked about, getting all the recognition. Kamara himself was on Nightcap with Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp. He was also on Jim Rome.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was also on Jim Rome, who does a Twitter show now. If anybody remembers, Jim Rome is burning. Or
Jim Rome. You ever seen the? Have you ever seen there's this Jim Everett video where he's like egging on. He's like a big critic of Jim Everett, who's like a Rams quarterback. He calls him soft all the time. He calls him like some different name, like John or something like that. Like, he calls him like a different name because he's soft or something like that. And basically got this guy to fight him live on air. So if you know what I'm talking about, look up Jim Everett, Jim Rome, and you'll find what I'm talking about. Great watch. Yeah, Jim Rome and Jim Everett.
Obviously, you talked about Mendoza's appearances. He was on CBS Mornings. He was on the Tonight Show. He was on the Today Show. Max Mendoza was probably the biggest star of that entire ordeal. The fact that 13-year-old kid sat there and read the teleprompter on live television was
with some spunk to it too.
Was by far the most impressive thing I've seen a Mendoza do. And I watched Fernando do a lot of really impressive things, including win the Heisman this season. But that was unreal.
I got a hell of a media school kid come through.
I don't know if I don't even know if he needs it. And then our good friend Jamie Jordan put up the video of that guy interviewing Fernando in middle school, and you just like, it obviously wasn't polished. It was a middle school Fernando Mendoza, but the building blocks of who Fernando Mendoza is as both a person and a quarterback, you saw in that interview of young Fernando. So that was really cool for Jamie to put on the timeline.
Very cool.
Did you see any of the Indiana National Championship celebration?
Yes, I did. I watched it on Big Ten Network before my workout.
Do you know what the weather was like? Because it was
0 degrees.
It was 13, felt like 0. It was a huge recruiting day regardless, but they were supposed to have junior day that weekend, had to cancel it because of the impending snowstorm, but they still had a bunch of recruits in the class of 2027 there, a bunch of commits in the class of 2027 there. They also had Showtime sales on campus. Jahide Brown, who's an unbelievable receiver. I was texting Brad about his huddle highlights. He posted his full season highlights this past week, and
a lot of AB to him. It's all
There's I don't like it's tough to watch huddle highlights and try and comp a high school kid, but when you watch Jahide Brown play football,
you like watching huddles where it's like touch the ball, touchdown. That's a good sign. You watch all these NFL
and
guys,
just separation, and
like that's what their tape looks like. That's what their huddle looks like.
Freaky freak stuff.
Yeah.
But he was there, and for like the crowd was getting clowned because the stadium wasn't filled, but for the fact that it was literally 0 degrees and dangerous to be outside, I thought the crowd turnout was incredible. And obviously they had an unbelievable recruiting day. It had to be a little bit smaller, but that meant they were able to spend some more time. Quentin, is it Burrell, I believe, is the number one player or number one receiver in Illinois. He had a really good visit as well. So Indiana is building a ton of momentum. If you follow the Wilt Fong Whip Around, or if you are on message boards and are a subscriber to one of those like 24/7 on 3 type sites, there's a lot of really exciting buzz around the Indiana Hoosiers. And so like you watched it's funny, like I've had a ton of interaction with Notre Dame on the timeline. A lot of it's been like bickering and all that good stuff. But if you watch what Notre Dame was able to do coming off of losing a national championship. They added 5 of the top 32 guys in the class of 2026. And I'm not saying that Indiana is going to do that, because that's not even the recruiting philosophy of Curt Cignetti. Like, they're going after their guys. They're not going after the guys the industry likes. But Indiana won the national championship. Like, what do you think that's going to be able to do to their recruiting efforts? And they were already recruiting at a really high level, even if it wasn't being nationalized on a national stage. So, yeah, unbelievably successful. I don't care that the stadium was half filled because it was 0 degrees out. And I just, like, as long as we never see the John Mellencamp force the team to sing when nobody was prepared for it ever again, I'm cool with everything that happened at the celebration.
I thought that was kind of funny, honestly. It's like, we're the national champs. We can do whatever the fuck we want. Honestly, we want to butcher Hood So Good while celebrating the Natty. It's fine with me. They tried our best. Keezer, I texted you, by the way. They tried our best. The jealous losers on college football Twitter tried their best to slide our national title celebration. How many people showed up to your national title celebration? Nebraska, Michigan State, Notre Dame. How many people showed up to your national title celebration this year? Oh, no one? Because you guys haven't won a national title in the modern era? Oh, okay. All right. Just making sure. Oh, zero people showed up to your national title celebration. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. They tried their best, but when you're national champs, nothing can stop you. Nothing. They tried our best. They tried their best. Doesn't matter.
I know you're not too much of a gamer, Brad, but I do play. I do like to play college football 26, and the fact that Fernando Mendoza is now the only 99 in the game warmed my heart.
I didn't touch in a while. I want to play the new updated roster with like 80, 88, Charlie Becker, and 93. Remember when I went on my spew and was like, these guys are underrated. I remember like Jones was a 72.
Well, they just put Bray Lynch in the game. I'm not even sure Bray Lynch is playable if you're in play now. Like, they just put him in Ultimate Team.
Unreal. I was talking more so the rosters when we broke it down, and it was like they didn't have
like Landino was playing Sam, and like
it was so weird. I hope they fixed that stuff. But
I don't think they did, but obviously for going into next year, and I hope they bring back the chance for legacy teams. I know Indiana is not going to be the only fan base that's going to want to play with like teams that they grew up watching. Like, obviously, you look at these more historic fan bases, people like our age, at least, who grew up in the watching in the mid 2000s and early 2010s, are going to want to play with those football teams they grew up watching. So I hope they put some sort of legacy type mode in the game where we can go back and we can play with this true Indiana roster, because it's not the complete roster for 2025, and it drives me crazy. But the fact that Mendoza is a 99 does warm my heart.
Who the hell is Gillespie?
Yeah, exactly. What are we doing? What are we even doing? I want to shout out Marcy Simpson, the CFO of IU Athletics. Jeremy Gray retweeted an article. That was a nice write-up on her. She did an amazing job, obviously. Look at where Indiana is as a university and an athletics program. So shout out to Marcy. Also shout out to Hoosier Edits on TikTok. Hoosier Commish posted his TikTok, but he created I Did It My Way, I believe it was, the Frank Sinatra-esque, here's where we were and here's where we ended up now. He's at Sig Cignetti fan on Twitter, or Sig Cignetti Enjoyer. So if you're on Twitter, go give him a follow, shout him out. That was awesome stuff. Mike Weymouth of X's and Joe's pod also tweeted out that the IU-Purdue rivalry is now the most lopsided ever in terms of national championships. Indiana has a national championship in football and multiple national championships in basketball. Obviously, Purdue, no national championships.
I saw it was the only rivalry to where one team has a national title in both football and basketball, and the other team has 0 in either.
Yep, that was the stat.
That is as little brother as it gets. Hey, little bro, if you guys are hate watching right now, hi. Good to see you. Make sure you do your homework and listen to your mom, all right?
And then, obviously, Brad, Bison Drop. If you're not familiar with Bison Drop, go to the website, check them out on Twitter. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff. The social drop this week is a game-used water bottle. So if you want to go try and win the social drop, check it out. But what they're doing for an auction is they're auctioning off Curt Cignetti's game-worn headset from the national championship. My freshman roommate and one of our other buddies put in a bid. Their bid got completely not even in the same stratosphere of where
Are
the bid is
we
at.
talking about the headset right now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They didn't put in a legit bid. Like they put in like
I got the headset.
No, because the auction's still open. And the last time I saw it was at like 11.5K, and I'm assuming, and that was yesterday.
Yeah,
so.
I wouldn't spend my money on that type of stuff. You know that. I'd rather go to the net. I'm going to spend 11K. I'm going to the national title game. What are we talking about here?
But some lucky Hoosier fan's going to end up with Curt Cignetti's headset from the national championship game.
Fine.
The decision to go for it on fourth down, like all of the calls, just the conversations, all that good stuff, like the piece of history. He wore that in the game, and now you get to take that home. That's unbelievable. That's what I got for smoke, Brad. Where's your gas tank at?
Oh, we're good. We're rolling. Actually, I'm feeling good.
Let's do it. I think let's just rip the Band-Aid off right away, because I've been pretty much avoiding the conversation for a week, but I think it's now like we have to have the conversation. Strength and conditioning coach Derek Owings officially took the Tennessee job. He signed the MOU. This was from Tennessee's 24/7. They tweeted this out at some point last week. He signed the official MOU, like the agreement that he was going to sign the contract the Tuesday before the national championship game. Thank fucking God I didn't know that. If I knew that, I would have been losing my mind. So I appreciate everybody involved for keeping that one under wraps.
Shout out UTK for keeping that under wraps. Shout out to them because I don't want Keys to losing his brain, because I'm gonna call it how it is. We've been talking on the side about this for a little bit, and I think there's some things that it seemed a little distasteful the way it went down. It was almost like we won, celebrating, the next morning he's taking PJ from Miami to Knoxville, right? It seems a little distasteful. Some context here. Strength and conditioning coaches, most of that work's done throughout the offseason, and then obviously just maintaining health throughout the year. And your job is almost wrapped up as long as everyone's like good to go. Make sure you guys are ready to play on game day, and that's your job. Like your job is almost your job becomes a lot easier as the season goes on. A lot less responsibility. You're more so focused on just like game day, making sure all the guys are good. Why he had to leave so soon? He wanted to move on for whatever reasons. He deserved it. He did. He finished his business here, in my mind. Got the national title, got the ring. Now wants to go on to new endeavors. Go for it. If you want, that's fine. I got no problem with it. Winter workouts start like less than a week after the Natty for a lot of these schools, specifically Tennessee, where they're in winter workouts within the week of the national title game. And yeah, he had to go. He had to go and get to his thing, right? And start with a new adventure for him. So forever grateful for Derek Owings finishing what he started. He didn't have to come back, and he did. After he was offered the USC job after the year one, he came back, finished what he started, got us a Natty, and then eventually took the Knoxville job to be basically the highest paid strength and conditioning coach ever in any level of anything to ever strength and condition, right? Like he took the job, and we didn't, for whatever reason, he didn't want our money, so he went in a different direction and probably wants to just turn a new leaf. And I tried to look in to see if he has ties to Tennessee. I couldn't really
work with Heupel at UCF in 2018. That's the connection. I saw that and I went, I think I do appreciate the way you put that, because I think if I had an initial reaction, if we talked about it immediately after, I would have been livid, because I have to split it, because the fan in me celebrating the national championship, the confetti's still falling, and all of a sudden I wake up to he's on Tennessee's using Curt Cignetti's stats to show Derek Owings is joining their program, and you're just like, wait a second, what just happened? But what about what the players say about Derek Owings, the work that he's put in, the way Curt Cignetti talked about him, the way that the team performed, the way that they were able to prevent injuries and all that good stuff. Like, there's a reason why he's the highest paid strength and conditioning coach of all time. Like, it's all been earned. The fact that he did take the USC job and Indiana was able to keep him in-house for one more season was a massive deal. And so as an Indiana football fan, as somebody who understands how important that guy is to a football program and understands how much he was liked, extremely frustrating to see him be paraded around as somebody else's big hire. The human being of understanding the importance of Derek Owings and what he meant to this university and what he meant to the guys in that room. It's hard not to be happy for a guy like that who got an opportunity that he believed he couldn't say no to and took it. So we'll learn a lot about Tyson Brown, who's the new strength and conditioning coach. Worked with Kurt Cignetti briefly for about 2 weeks. Was Mike Leach's guy forever between Washington State and Mississippi State. And so I'm glad that we waited some time, because if we talked about this last week, I think I would have been angry, but I'm just more grateful and thankful for Derek Owings and for Josh Hupp and Carl Miller, who left with them. Appreciate the work that those guys put in. I hope that they're, happy in the decision that they made, and we focus on the guys in Indiana and we move forward. So I think that's the only conclusion you can come to.
Exactly. And yeah, whatever his reasons may be for taking that job, like obviously he has these ties to, I would have thought like maybe he's from Tennessee, grew up a Volunteer fan, maybe. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but I guess it's just a connection with Josh Heupel. Wanted to go on to bigger, better things. Wanted to maybe make his own stamp at his own program. Didn't want to maybe necessarily be under the Cignetti shadow for whatever reason. Like, not that that's like a bad thing, but like he's ever going to be tied to. He's one of Cignetti's guys. Like he has a job for life as a strength and conditioning coach because of his run with Cignetti. I'm sure he's very grateful for Cignetti taking a chance for him as an assistant strength coach to make him the main guy. I think it was at James Madison when he got that promotion, and I'm sure he learned a ton from Cignetti. I even saw him post about his staff when they announced the rest of his staff that he's assembled over there. And he's like, it's all about people, like very Cignetti-esque. I'm sure he's taking a lot of learnings over there. And wish him nothing but the best. I'm penciling in Tennessee as a playoff team early on, just knowing that they got that guy working with them in what's already a pretty strong program. Just excited to see what he can do. And rooting for him, except when he plays Indiana, right? Like that's how I feel about it. Forever a national champion, always has a job opening if he wants to come back. I'm sure that's the case. But Tyson Brown's a pretty damn good replacement for him, and Sig seems to be answering the call. The second big replacement hire from the OG staff in 24 is now replacing Derek Owings, and he brings on Tyson Brown. Is now the time to talk about who's in?
Well, no. Well, I think Tyson. This is a nice segue to talk about Tyson Brown. Then we'll have to go because it's a players driven. At the end of the day, coaching can only matter so much. The guys go out there and play, and so we got a bunch of players to highlight. Let's talk about Tyson Brown, because I looked into Tyson Brown. He followed Jim Mora from UConn. He was at UConn for 2 years. Followed Jim Mora to Colorado State. He was their associate head coach as well as running their strength and conditioning. When you get the call from Kurt Cignetti, you answer the phone. But he was Mike Leach's strength and conditioning coach at both Wazoo and Mississippi State. Like I said, Sig hired him for 2 weeks at Elon before he was then offered the lead job at Washington State. What do you say? He worked, like I said, Jim Mora for UConn. And he's also coached between Colorado State and the Daily Hoosier. There was conflicting reports, 9 or 10 bowl games the guy's coached in, so he understands how to play into the postseason and all that. So did you get a chance to dive into Tyson Brown, and what are your early impressions?
100%. He was Mike Leach's guy. Was an assistant on the strength and conditioning staff at Washington State when Mike Leach first got there. Sig, eye for talent, tries to get him over to Elon as the head guy, get him a promotion. He takes it, obviously, and then Mike Leach is like, hold on, wait a second. Come back here. You're the head guy at my place now. And he comes back to Mike Leach. This is Mike Leach's guy. Jim Mora, stamp of approval. That's 2 damn good ball coaches, Jim Mora Jr. and Mike Leach, to put their stamp of approval on that guy. I've watched Jim Mora's teams at UCLA. Great strength and conditioning staff over there. Sent tons of guys to the NFL. So he knows. Mike Leach is a Hall of Fame coach. Jim Mora Jr. knows the importance of strength and conditioning, understands that as well. So he has a good evaluation on that. Home run hire, all things considered, is my take on this. Just having those stamps of approval, and then obviously having the final stamp of approval of Cignetti is really all you need to really think about, right? As long as we got the head honcho there, this staff's going to have turnover as the years go on and we continue success. And it's going to be tough pills to swallow every single time. The reality is that, Sig has the system built out in place. And as it can be dangerous to call it plug and play, but it's as plug and play as you can get with this program. And, and as it continues that way, it's like same thing happened with the Saban era. And that's going to be a common theme as we compare this run, now that we've won the national title, it's now about comparing to the most recent dynasty, which is Alabama and the Nick Saban team. Cignetti, Saban guy, was on that original Alabama staff. That's just going to be a common theme that we're going to just compare to. And as Sig just continues to replace his original staff as turnover continues throughout the years, it's just going to be something cool to follow. And Tyson Brown just seems like another great hire and should be able to, the good thing is that Tyson Brown obviously has his ways of doing things, but it's not like we're starting from scratch here, right? Like a lot of the stuff that we were doing with Owings is just going to be executed by a different guy, right? And maybe some drills might change, but it's all the same at the end of the day in terms of just attacking the day, doing your job, doing the right things, trying to get better, and just taking it serious. And, as long as we have a guy that's more than qualified to do that, Tyson Brown, it's smooth sailing, right? It's not, I don't see necessarily a big drop off because Derek Owings left. It's more so things are just going to be a little different, just going to be a different guy yelling at you in the weight room instead of Owings.
Let's talk about who's out, Brad, because obviously this roster, one of the biggest, I don't want to call it knocks, but one of the biggest talking points when people were talking about this 2025 Indiana Hoosiers team was how old they were and that they were senior heavy and that there was a bunch of leadership and experience. And I think one of the beautiful things about the way this team was constructed and the way that different guys stepped up throughout the years, that we have this core of leadership leaving and we have this core of new leaders kind of emerge in the same way. But I want to talk about the seniors, the graduates, and the NFL draft guys first. And I don't think you can talk about the 2025 Indiana Hoosiers. And I know everybody's going to want to talk about Mendoza first, but to me, everything starts with Aiden Fisher. And the fact that Aiden Fisher came into Indiana as somebody who people questioned as an NFL guy, questioned his ability to play, forget an NFL guy, actually questioned his ability to play in the Big Ten. And now he leaves Indiana as a national champion and somebody who's a lock to get selected, not only in the seventh round, but should be a fairly high draft pick when it's all said and done because of the instincts he's displayed on the field, along with the athletic ability that he's shown. But it's the things that we don't see and the things that we'll never see. And like he talked about going and like every time he went to work out, he'd go bother Bones Jones and Ro Hardy. Like every time he'd go to watch film, he's bothering Bones Jones and Ro Hardy, and like passing little things like that down to the younger guys, and just the ability to have somebody like Aiden Fisher in a room every day, watch that guy work, watch that guy prepare, watch that guy eat, sleep, do all that stuff. It's unbelievably valuable to a football team. And like Bryant Haynes says it all the time, it starts with 4. This team started with 4, and like he is one of the biggest reasons why this team was able to achieve all the things they were able to achieve. So one of the biggest losses by far for this Indiana football team will be figuring out how to replace Aiden Fisher.
Everyone has their favorite players, right? And whether that's going to be Pons or Mendoza or Surratt, like lots of guys to choose from. Like Aiden Fisher, 2-time team captain, like the guy, like, number one, like the captain on the team, 2 years, tenure of 27-2 and a national title and a Big Ten championship, Rose Bowl and a Peach Bowl, 2-time All-American in his run at IU. Forever will be the greatest captain in IU football history for what he did. One of the best trash talkers in college football this past year. I think that needs to be said. An intense guy, someone who's going to be a super loved by whatever NFL team is smart enough to draft him. Whoever figures that out, you're welcome. Go get him. He's a stud. A fantastic player, a great leader. Definitely, I loved how you called out passing it down to the younger guys because, we're going to need Hardy, Fisher, and Becker, Hardy, Jones, and Becker, and all those guys to, step up and carry the torch, right? And that's going to be really important. And losing him's a big dropout. Like that is the leader on the team, and having him is it's going to be a little bit of there could be some road bumps here, right? As we go through winter workouts and spring ball. And as we figure out, who's going to be that new vocal leader, who's going to be talking shit, who's going to be that guy? Is it going to be Jones, who's going to be now the new trash talker on the team? Very important.
I got a prediction for you,
Brad.
One
of my personal favorites for Forever one of the greatest Hoosiers of all time. Yeah, that is the toughest loss of the offseason, just from the sense that he was the team captain for 2 years, the greatest IU captain in any sport ever, greatest Hoosier captain of all time. Shout out Fish. Wish him the best of luck. Should be a top 100 pick. That's my official grade for him. Linebackers tend to not go in the first round, so it's gonna be tough for him to sneak in there. But rounds 2 and 3, like, should be your first linebacker taken off the board. I know Jacob Rodriguez has been showing out, so for me, it's between Rodriguez and him for the first linebacker taken off the board. If it's not him, he should be second. So we'll wish him the best of luck as he goes to the combine and all his stuff. I don't care what his measurables are. Dude's a damn good football player. That's all that should matter.
It's funny. To me, it all starts with Fish, but everybody else isn't in any particular order, right? But It is kind of funny that the next name I wrote down was Fernando Mendoza, who Heisman Trophy winner, going to be the number 1 overall pick. Another guy who we talked about how valuable Fish was as a leader. The way Fernando Mendoza was able to inspire his teammates to get guys to play for him, to want to play with him, on top of his ability to just spin the rock and be the best quarterback in the nation. Like, Indiana does not go 12-0 with a different quarterback this season. That I'm convinced of. And for a lot of the dunking on 24/7 and on 3 that we were able to do because of the success that this team had, there was multiple times this season where Fernando Mendoza's individual greatness was the reason why Indiana was able to have a lot of these moments. And so something we've talked about with what Indiana's put on the field, the talent level on the team is going to get better, but I'm not sure if we'll ever see a better quarterback at the University of Indiana than Fernando Mendoza. Or Jesus Christ, Indiana University. We've been talking for too long, Brad.
We're gonna have great quarterbacks come through here through the years.
That's why I don't. Sidebar. That's why I don't get on recruits for saying it wrong. It's like I've never called it University of. That's the most disgusting thing that's ever come out of my mouth. I can't believe that just happened.
We are a 200-year-old plus institution. We are Indiana University, the Indiana University.
IU, baby.
And Fernando, guy I called Andrew Luck back in April, March, whatever it was one of my favorite Christmas gifts of all time when he committed. It was awesome when that happened. Got him over Georgia, and came in almost irreplaceable leadership in terms of just being able to rally the guys, get them all to believe really early on. I think, also, like, maybe not even that had to do that with his words. See that guy spin the rock? I mean, they're like, oh, this guy's a little better than Roar. Come on, a little bit. I go back to There's gonna be a lot of quarterbacks to come through here, and it's gonna be toxic to compare them to Mendoza, and I'm gonna encourage us as well as other fans to stay away from that. I think it's unrealistic expectations to put on any quarterback that comes in here. Josh Hoover is going to be the first one. Very tenured quarterback. I'm not going to talk about Josh Hoover here, but to compare future quarterbacks to him, I think will be unfair. Just an absolute special talent, a legend, a guy that will have a statue on campus one day. Number 15, Heisman Trophy winner. We called our shot. Almost our claim to fame, almost being on this guy so early. And I'm just so happy. Probably the easiest guy to root for ever. Easiest. It's impossible to hate Fernando Mendoza. Impossible.
You have to try and just be a miserable person.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Ponds, Brad. The man's got a pond. What more can you say? If you want to talk about who the most talented football player on this team was, obviously, again, everyone's going to say Fernando Mendoza, but it really might just be D'Angelo Ponds. He's going to continue to get disrespected because of his size, but oh my goodness, the football player that kid is, his ability to lock down whole halves of the field, his ability to lock down receivers all over the spectrum, whether it's your Jeremiah Smiths, your Bostons, your big, tall jump ball guys, your small, scat, athletic guys. The guy tackles. You watch the way he's putting his nose in there against Mark Fletcher, and smart, physical, tough, everything you want in a football player. that's D'Angelo Pons. And like I don't think it's an accident that like one of the first things we heard about Pons is that nobody was beating this guy over the top in practice, and I don't think we've ever seen somebody beat him deep.
We saw a clip of Cooper actually beating him deep in early practice.
That was a Mendoza rollout thing, but I don't like it's
True.
If you were just basing it off of physical like talent alone, D'Angelo Pons is an easy no-brainer first-round pick.
Yeah.
There is nothing really.
Hey, you're facing Cooper Mendoza, not easy, man. You get beat a couple times, but it's okay. The most talented player on this team. He's gonna get disrespected. Should be round 1. His height, guys are gonna be idiots. He's probably gonna go 35, something like that. But I hope he goes round 1. That'd be awesome for the program. Came in as a freshman All-American, was one of the more highly touted transfers to come in, just being that true sophomore, freshman All-American, like year 2 jump, that concept. Came in, made an impact right away. The pick sixes, the plays, the pass breakups, the clamping of Jeremiah Smith, winning both matchups when he played him. Unbelievable talent. I think what makes me confident that he might go round 1 is his Jeremiah Smith tape. Because I think scouts already know that guy's our top 5 receiver, top 5 pick in the upcoming, he might be the first overall pick in the next year's draft.
People would have taken him top 5 last year, Brad.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm as high as Jeremiah Smith as you can be. And this guy beat him twice in the matchup. Clamped his shit in the Ohio State loss on the road the first year. Kid only had like 35 yards against him.
3 catches for 23 yards.
Yep. And then, in a much tougher matchup, won some and lost some, but overall won the matchup in terms of winning the game and coming up with plays more so in the second half to get the job done. Forever, one of the greatest Hoosier athletes of all time. 5, try 5, get 6.
It's funny when you start talking about statues and who really deserves one, and you really could build statues of the entire team. But he's definitely on the short list of people who
the first 3 you mentioned are for sure.
And if D'Angelo's pond isn't a permanent fixture in Bloomington by the government, it will be by the inhabitants of the town and the students of the school, because that was an epic thing that happened, and that should be a thing. It definitely should.
We got a lot of numbered streets. I've said this before.
Start naming them
in Bloomington. Could start naming them.
That would be sick. Mikal Kamara, Brad, another one of the JMU guys coming in, absolutely disrespected. People didn't think he'd be able to play in the Big Ten, let alone be an NFL draft guy. And to go from that to, I started watching a lot of Brooks Austin going into the national championship game, coming out of the national championship game, because he's one of the only guys breaking down full game film on YouTube. Mikal Kamara was destroying Francis Mauanaga, the guy who's going to be a top 15, top 10 pick on most people's boards, just absolutely destroying him by being an athlete and being destructive. And that's who Mikal Kamara is. Didn't have the best statistical year in terms of getting to the quarterback, but led the conference in pressures. And when Stephen Daly and Kellen Wyatt both were lost for the season for injury, and Mikal Kamara was playing through his own injuries, that kid never complained once, played through a lot of pain, and was one of the most impactful players for the playoff run, and obviously blocked the punt in the national championship. That might end up being the statue, is the Mikal Kamara outstretched hand to block the punt. So shout out to 6 and everything he was able to accomplish.
Would make a good one. Mikal Kamara, 2-star recruit, came in as a junior last year. Led the conference in pressures in a league that had Abdul Carter. Absolutely dominated. Top 10 picks. I'd be seeing 6th round grades for this guy. It's like I think I know more about him than they do. And the only reason why I would think that is because he has a shoulder issue. His shoulder seems to pop out. Happened during the UCLA game. It seems to be once you pop your shoulder out, pops out again more often. It's a thing. So that could be the only real knock against him. When we talk real X's and O's, the shit on tape, the guy is bona fide top 100. There's no doubt about it. I don't care about measurables. There's plenty of 6'1", 260-pound DNs in the league that have been successful. I don't want to hear how he's undersized at the position when there's plenty of guys at that same size that have had great careers. James Harrison comes to mind. First thing. Crazy comp, but this idea that Mikhail Kamara can't succeed in the league because he's a 6'1" DN, 6'2", 6'1", is asinine to me. And the guy should be picked in the top 100. Would love that blocked punt to be forever commemorated in a statue in front of the stadium. And I'm trying not to spew too much about these guys, but because we'll be talking about them forever.
Yeah, no. So we could try and speed run for this for the sake of time because we do have to get through who's out, a lot of guys. Give me one sentence on Pat Coogan and his impact.
Great leader, great vocal leader of the best O-line in the country, despite not winning the Joe Moore Award. Rose Bowl MVP. Finally got his natty after losing the natty the year before. Got the job done. Team captain on this team, 78. Best center in IU history. Sorry, Mike Kadick. I think Mike Kadick would agree.
I think he would agree too. And one of the things that when you went to Europe over the summer and I recorded, I think the one solo episode that was planned, I did 25 questions about Indiana football and Indiana basketball. And my second question was, what was the leap from Kadick to Coogan going to be? And my conclusion was that it was going to be a significant improvement in that people aren't ready to understand the impact Pat Coogan is going to have on this football team. And for everything you just said, and for just the simple fact that he's going to be a Notre Dame transfer that transferred out of that school to go to Indiana to win a national championship. And then he's just, by being himself, by being Pat Coogan, by being that leader, experienced, tough, and he was the perfect piece for this football team. We needed a center with his exact skill set and his leadership, and just by being himself, he provided exactly what Indiana needed. So, like you said, best center in Indiana history. We'll forever be grateful for Pat Coogan. Elijah Surratt.
Centers are hard to project. Anyways,
Elijah Surratt, Brad.
For sure. Elijah Surratt, always open. Waffle House. Is going to run 4 or 5 in the combine. Won't matter. Dude always gets open. Best jump ball specialist I've seen in a long time. He's kind of his own. It's hard to comp him because he's kind of his own guy, which makes me even think he's more special. Another top 100 pick. The greatest. Underrated as a leader. Was a team captain on this team, by the way. There are 4 team captains. It was Fish, Coogan, Nowakowski, and Elijah Surratt. I don't think I understood going into the year how important of a leader he was. Receivers typically aren't leaders, right? They're the me guys. But as big of a we guy as we get, one of the best downfield blockers I've seen. He's fantastic. Really set the tone in terms of what being an IU receiver is all about, and is paving the way for future stars to come.
Simply put, Elijah Surratt set the standard for what you need to do to play receiver at Indiana. And for him to go from St. Francis to becoming an Adidas athlete while still in college, and if you look at the Adidas athlete roster, it's Mendoza and Jeremiah Smith and Travis Hunter, and it's a select group of guys. They're not just handing these things out to everybody. And so for Elijah Surratt to be that guy on the field, that guy in the locker room, to have the brand you can build on, that's somebody who absolutely he is the development story, right? If you're a receiver and you want to come into college and you're trying to figure out where to go, if you're Mike Shanahan and Kurt Cignetti recruiting that room, you turn and go Elijah Surratt, but also the individual that Surratt is, and it's hard for us on the outside to understand how much work that guy had to put in. But anything you ever hear about him from the coaching staff and from the strength and conditioning guys and from his teammates is the standard and example he set in that room was something that people are going to have to follow. And so unbelievably important to the foundation that was built here. And like you said, one of 4 team captains on this Indiana football team, and a guy that doesn't get enough recognition for his leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Lou Moore.
The greatest boomerang of all time to date. Love that. An original Tom Allen guy, JUCO guy. Came here. Tom Allen was a great eye for defensive talent. Brought him in. Went to Ole Miss. Came back to win a national title. Really close friends with Amari Farrell. That was a big reason for that. One of the coolest stories, just in the sense where we didn't know if he was going to be able to play. And then come to find out, through all the adversity he went through, going through JUCO, going to a school and then coming back and being so under recruited the whole way, and then ending his college career with an All-American season, leading the country in interceptions. Just an absolute unreal story. Now he's going to be, because of his age, possibly knocked out of the top 100. But I see a guy that will come in and may not have the longevity just with him being already 25, right? Not as much upside, so might get knocked from that in the draft process. But he's going to be a guy that can play in the NFL day one. I don't see that guy going past round 4. Special player. Number 7, originally number 20, when he was at Indiana the first time, will be forever remembered as Sweet Lou Moore, and almost a folk legend at IU in terms of all the plays he made throughout the year, whether that was the Oregon game, the Saint interception in the first quarter, an absolute folk hero in Bloomington.
Yeah, and like you said, someone who was unbelievably important to this team, and we're going to highlight some of the guys. Like, we're actually, funny enough, we're not going to talk about the guys who are already incumbents in the room, but like somebody like Byron Baldwin Jr. has a really bright future at the position, but true freshman, was dealing with injuries this year. Not having Lou Moore in the back end would have been disastrous for this Indiana football team, and the fact that he was able to like play through adversity and put together one of the best 4-game stretches in the country for a safety when he was dealing with all of that, and then you saw the way that the team gelled and just the way the guys in the locker room react to him, and unbelievably important piece of this defense, and like you said, the most important boomerang of all time. Devon Boykin,
the most underappreciated player on this team, was clamps all year. Probably had I think he was the highest graded PFF guy on this roster throughout the year. Is unbelievable tape. Another like 5th-year senior type guy, one of these old heads that we just had, and was able to execute. We knew coming in when he was on that NC State team, they were really, and he was playing those 2 years. They had one of the best defenses in the conference. He gets hurt. They give up an extra touchdown per game when he gets hurt. So we knew the impact he was going to bring in already coming in for 12. And he had a fantastic year. The biggest play that stands out would be the strip and fumble recovery and touchdown against Maryland. One of my favorite plays of the year. What a guy. What a player. What a special talent. Playing the Rovers, should get drafted this year. Despite his age, he's just, he's starting nickel on the national championship team. Probably go get him. I'm sure he can make your roster. Right?
We talked about going into the season. One of the most frustrating things about the 2 losses Indiana had last year was that they got destroyed over the middle, specifically by Egbuka, who obviously was a first-round pick. Watch what he did in the NFL this year, but also by Notre Dame slot receiver. We were anticipating Boykin coming in and being able to put an end to all of that, and I don't think we could have anticipated him playing as well as he did. And like you said, physical, instinctual, just a really, really good football player, and just somebody who you could rely on. Like, there were certain games where, and I don't know all of the snap counts, but there were certain games where he was in a lot of the defensive game plan, and there were other games where there was very heavy 3 linebacker sets and he wasn't relied upon as much. And again, another guy who older, understands football and how you need to fit into a team, and just somebody who made the team better because of the way he acted every day. And so, unbelievably important piece of this team. We'll talk about Kellen.
Didn't hear much of him because he was doing his job so well.
Exactly. That's in a whole bunch of words. I said that. Kellen Wyatt and Stephen Daly. They feel like the same player because I
guess we'll group them in, but Kellen Wyatt, a true 3-4 outside linebacker playing DN in this scheme, really adjusted super well, just being a great athlete. Will get drafted despite the knee injury. Probably won't be able to test with anyone, but his tape, the only regret we have is that we didn't get more of them, right? And getting hurt in the Oregon game really sucked, but he was the most impactful D lineman going into that in the season, going into that game. And, losing him, it almost felt like, God damn, like the wheels are falling off, right? And this team was able to figure it out and get it together. And it was Kellen Wyatt, very, very special player. And then 8, steps up behind him. A guy that, we knew it was always going to be Kamara, Wyatt, Daly, and then a little bit of Ndukwe. And then, having Daly come in and step in full time and just lead the conference in tackles for loss. Track guy out of Kent State, an absolute phenomenal athlete, going from 0-12 to 16-0. How about that for Stephen Daly? What a story. Another MAC guy, just diamond in the rough that, Sig's able to find, and just another NFL guy. Like, don't be an idiot. Take him. A phenomenal player, instinctual, knows. I've never seen him miss a tackle, to be honest. He's
except for when the Ohio State lineman was grabbing his face mask while he's sacking Julian Sain.
Exactly. And dude's a dude. Let's just call it how it is. I'll be interested to see he's definitely screams. He's a true edge, very similar to McHale, like about 6'1", 260. True edge guy, stand up. We'll find a good home in the NFL, and just need to find a good scheme fit for him.
Yeah, freak athletically. Well, first Wyatt, like to your point, he was the most destructive of the defensive linemen. He was basically another linebacker out there, and they were playing a lot of 3-4. Like when you couldn't figure out if he was coming or Bones was coming or Fisher was coming or Hardy was coming, like it felt almost like General Grievous, where there was 4 arms and all of them could do different things. Very, very terrifying. And then you lose Wyatt, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened given how well he's playing. And Stephen Daly comes in, and he's somehow even better and leads the conference in, like you said, tackles for loss. And the production both those guys put on the field, like I know we didn't have either of them for the playoff run, but you don't get to 16-0 without either of those guys. And the fact that they were able to play at such a high level in the Big Ten, unbelievably important for that run for this team. EJ Williams.
Not the greatest boomerang. Oh, he wasn't a boomerang. He came from Clemson, took a chance on a Tom Allen Indiana football team, went to the portal last year because he wasn't getting any tech, and decides to come back and has a phenomenal season as wide receiver 3, soon to be wide receiver 4. But with injuries, he was wide receiver 3 for most of the year. He really wasn't wide receiver 4 into the playoff run. And after impact play after impact play, when they scheme it up and they're covering Coop and Surratt, he always found a way to be open and made some fantastic plays. I think the one that stands out, obviously you can talk rollout, deep ball in the UCLA game, but my favorite was that little red zone layered throw from Mendoza in the back of the end zone to EJ Williams. That picture, that play is how EJ Williams will be used in the NFL when he makes it there, because he is good enough to do that, be that big possession receiver. It reminds me a lot of Jake Bobo on the Seahawks, who scored a touchdown in this most recent championship game. A lot of similarities to the game, just 6'5", long possession receiver. 7. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for going back on the ride, making the right decision, and coming back and being a big advocate to Southern recruits to come to Indiana as well. He's been very public about why recruits should go to Indiana. He was a 4-star in his own right. He was a blue chip guy, one of the 7 blue chip guys behind this team, Coop included. And he has been a big proponent of trying to get guys to come to Indiana. And I don't see many draft grades on him. I saw this Jacksonville fan account that likes to follow the draft, and they were looking at EJ Williams, and people were calling him old. And I'm just saying, bro, dude's a dog. If he could be your wide receiver 4 or 5 on the roster, you're in good hands. Like, that guy can step up for an injured guy and give you some good reps in the league, 100%. So looking forward to his process, and I think he can make a big impact. But we'll see what the doubters say. Him just being, not as big of a role guy as the guys that we've previously mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you highlighted it perfectly. EJ Williams did not have to come back. And he not only decided to come back, but he's also been an advocate of the program, on top of making some really, really big plays, some fun plays. Like you said, the UCLA play, we were there. The layered throw is how I'm going to remember him. Destroy that Oregon defensive back in the Peach Bowl. So it's unbelievably important to the locker room, and just another guy who you look at this team and you're like, how many NFL guys are truly on this team? That's a guy who some people are going to be like, how is that guy playing in the NFL? It's like, did you watch EJ Williams play?
People are going to be like, who is this guy and where did he come? He was at Indiana. Like, how did this guy not get drafted? Like, he's going to be one of those.
Because they have 3 first-round picks. Like Coop and Surratt are first-round, borderline second-round picks, and Charlie Becker's going to be a first-round pick. It's like that's why EJ Williams wasn't on the field.
He's probably worth a 6th-round flyer, if we're being honest here.
If EJ Williams could have like transferred to somewhere in like the Big 12 or the ACC and probably been a featured receiver or number 2 guy.
It could be like the Bama pick of all those good receivers. Like we look back and like, oh my God, they had 4 NFL guys in their receiver room. Like, and we were trying to tell them. Like we were trying to tell them in the offseason. I was telling them they're loaded. No one listened until it was too late.
Speaking of one part of the 2-headed monster, Roman Hemby.
Whew. Number 1, one God. Kick returner on this team. Is going to find great success in the NFL, just his return ability and, him just being a guy when he came out in Maryland as a freshman, made an impact right away, has always been a good running back, productive, very well balanced, more of a scat back type, can run through you, but he's more run around you type guy. You know what I mean? Like, special fast player, 1,000-yard rusher on a national championship team, very much deserving of a top 5-round pick in my mind. Running backs just go lower and lower as the years goes on. They grow on trees. So that's definitely a guy you can tote the rock with. Not going to tell you he's a bell cow in the NFL, but he is going to be a very special piece on an offense if you use him correctly.
Completely agree. Another guy who completely understood what kind of role he was walking into. He was not going to be somebody who was going to get like 20, 30 carries a game. You know what I mean? Like they were very clearly going to split between the 3 guys, and then injuries happen. They're splitting between the 2 guys. Just great teammate, great person, great player. It's just you need people like Roman Hemby on your football team, and when he's as talented as he is, and he's the type of person he is, it's like, yeah, that's how you get a player like Roman Hemby. Kaelon Black,
we knew he was the definition of production over potential. There
were people in our comments and in the chat and on Twitter being like, oh, well, I can't believe we brought in this Roman Hemby guy, and is he going to be able to be productive? And he was a little bit down on Maryland, and we were like, what are you even saying? Like, what are you talking about?
He was eating as a true freshman at Maryland.
What are we talking about? Like,
he was killing us. Gonna be good. I remember watching Roman Hemby kill us as a freshman. I was like, who the hell is this kid? And little he turns out to be an Indiana Hoosier national champion. Like, what a run. Kaelon Black, one of the more vocal leaders on this team, wasn't a team captain, but was definitely one of the tone setters on this team in the locker room. Bring in the culture, the original James Madison 13 that now dropped to 7 in this past year. The James Madison 7 that won the national title. Part of that group was a leading rusher at James Madison in Cignetti's last year. Didn't get a whole lot of tick last year because of injuries. Comes back for like his 6th, 7th, whatever year. And you cannot convince me that guy's not an NFL. We talked about him earlier in the Senior Bowl. Like, you just can't convince me he's not an NFL guy. Runs so hard, a freak athlete, super fast, super strong. We'll run through you. We'll run around you. Decent with his hands. Not as good as Hemby, but decent. And, we'll make a very, very good NFL running back. Will be a great addition to any running back room in the league.
People forget Kaelon was on the freaks list to enter the season. I mean, like you said, I'll remember him for his leadership and just how violently he hit the hole. He was just so fun to watch. As soon as the ball was in his hands, he was going to run as fast as he possibly could, straight, and it was going to be past somebody or through somebody, and it was always going to be violent. And just somebody who, and also in the way he picked up the blitz too. Just toughness personified. And we'll have. I know you talked about his age and all that, but he's going to have a home on an NFL roster. He will.
No block, no rock. But there were times this season where it was like, man, it's really nice having a 25-year-old running back right now when you're playing Ohio State and Miami. Like, it comes in handy, doesn't it? That's how I'll remember Kaelon Black. It's like, man, that was really nice having a 25-year-old running back in college. And that's not a knock on this team. Play by the rules. He was eligible, so, suck it. I don't know what to tell you. Fans bitching about it. So every team's got old players. Our guys were just better.
And Solomon Van Horst too, as well. You want to talk about I saw Respectable Adam just got a Van Horst jersey, which I thought was incredible. That was awesome. But kick returner who saw his role completely diminish this year, never complained. Like it just great teammate. Obviously, Kurt Signetti guy, another one of those JMU guys who came over, helped set the culture, and just somebody who's like a piece of this roster that's not going to be around anymore.
Special teams ace, one of the James Madison 7 on this roster. A returner that never returned it. It seemed like special teams ace, important leader, culture setter, very important 18. Thank you.
Riley Nowakowski, Brad.
Oh my God, what a surprise this guy was. I mean, we talked about him going into the year. We knew he was going to play a lot.
I remember fighting you. I remember fighting you and being like, the way Kurt Signetti is talking about this dude is like, there's no way.
I wasn't listening to Kurt. And that's my fault because I was looking at Holden Stays like, oh wow, this guy is 6'5", 250, can run. Didn't matter. Nowakowski beat him out just by being able to execute, being a great leader, a team captain on this team, 37. A former walk-on at Wisconsin and didn't get a whole lot of playing time. I don't know how sick fucking found this guy. Former walk-on, got a scholarship at Wisconsin.
Bosted, baby.
But really wasn't involved in the passing game. And I remember the story of Riley talking about this when they're like trying to recruit him over to Indiana. And they're talking to him like, yeah, you're going to be very involved in the pass game. And Riley's like, what are you talking? Me? I'm going to be involved in the pass game? And little do you know that the play that sticks out to me is the deep slant or the deep post in the Penn State drive. Obviously, we could talk Illinois, screenplay, the fullback dive in the national title game.
I think he had a bigger catch on, I think, second or third down in the national championship, but I'm with you.
That dot in the Penn State game and on the post, holy shit. I was like, holy fuck, that was ballsy as fuck to throw that to Nowakowski in that spot. He caught it, and we moved the chains, and before you know it, Cooper's toe tapping in the end zone. And what an unbelievable story. Can't wait to see him. They call him the Kyle Juszczyk of this team. That's a Mendoza quote, and it's great comp. Great comp. A guy that will play fullback. He's not a tight end at the NFL level. He's just not tall enough. Like, sorry, you got to be like 6'4" to do that, or 6'3" at least. Shout out Kenyon Sadiq. Yeah, he's gonna be played as that big fullback type guy, and yeah, will be used in any offensive scheme because fullbacks.
He's gonna be such an excellent charger. Oh my God.
Jim Harbaugh is gonna love him.
Mike McDaniel and Jim Harbaugh just getting their hands on
Jim and John are going to fight over this guy. He's going to be a Giant or a Charger. I'm not sure.
There's going to be like it's going to be like a blitz to trade up in the 5th round. People are like, what the hell is going on? It's a all-out brawl for Nowakowski.
That's so funny. I hope that happens. That'd be awesome.
He earned it. Yeah. He earned it. Yeah, leader, and what a pleasant surprise in terms of playmaking ability and just like, yeah, for him to be one of the people in New York celebrating the Heisman with Fernando is just, and to be one of the guys who was at the offensive line dinner before the year, and just like he was a massive part of this football team. And yeah, it's really cool to see him get his flowers. And like you said, he's going to be a really successful NFL player, and guys are going to be fighting over him.
Yeah,
Holden stays.
A couple touchdown passes. Wasn't as involved in this season as many would have thought in the pass game. Got his at times, a lot of times in garbage time and big blowouts, things like that. But really came through as a blocker on a lot of those big heavy sets. I think a lot of people would call him a bust. I would stay away from that. He won a national title. He came in a lot of those big packages he was in on as a big blocker, and
he's a great blocker this year.
And did his job right and just did his thing and didn't complain. And he's going to be forever remembered as a national champion, and no one's going to be able to take that away from him. And yeah, I'm glad 19 came through, and tight end's always going to be, it's been a very interesting ride following that room. We're going to have another fun off season kind of figuring out what the hell is going on there. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, shout out Holden Stage, number 19. Yeah, great Hoosier, national champion. No one's going to take that away from him.
Yeah, and he caught Mendoza's record-breaking touchdown pass or record-tying touchdown pass. So they're drawing up plays for him, and I
A
believe he
Notre
was
Dame recruit, a Notre Dame commit signee that won a national title.
another one. Him and Pat Coogan.
Yep.
Dominique Ratcliffe.
A senior leader on the interior D line, was anticipated to be more of a rotational piece and came in, did his job, had tremendous plays. It's a team effort up there on the D line, and he was a big part of it. Had tons of plays throughout the year. Number 91, he was showing up in his limited reps, very highly graded. I'm not sure what his NFL future holds. I'm not the best D-line evaluator. He didn't really, necessarily stick out as an All-American with the emergence of Tucker and Landino throughout this year, but did his job as a big piece of that interior D-line, which is one of the best in the country this past year, and he's a big part of that. And hopefully that argues his case for, he will be on a 90-man in training. He will be at a training camp in the NFL. He's not just going to go rookie camp and done. He's going to be on a 90-man somewhere, and he's gonna try to work his way. And just wishing him nothing but the best for 91. Once again, forever national champion. Thank you, 91.
No, absolutely. And I think he really came on at the end of the season, especially when Daly went out for the year. When we switched to the more of the three-man front, he ended up beating out Hosea Wheeler, who we'll talk about the portal guys in a second. He made a lot of really destructive plays in the college football playoff. And I think if you put on that tape alone, like you said, he's going to end up on an NFL roster. And the guy who came in knowing that he wasn't going to be the starter, knowing he was going to be a rotational piece, and came in and did his job. And, a great Hoosier. And then obviously, Brad, people were holding out hope. We didn't know if he was declaring for the draft or not. There was a little bit of a grace period where we thought this man may have been coming back, but it is officially official. Omar Cooper Jr. is going to the draft. What do you got for Coop?
I knew we were missing someone. One of the big recruits of the Tom Allen era coming in. When we got that big momentum swing from the 2020 season, 2021, you got this kid, 4-star receiver, home state, Lawrence North, Omar Cooper. Basketball player, dual athlete, track, basketball, football, comes in there and makes an impact right away on the team. Red shirts, but then makes an impact in his redshirt freshman year. Made I think my most tons. All right, I was about to say my most memorable Omar Cooper play was the one he caught the ball and got flipped on his head in the Michigan.
That's always the first one that comes to mind for me, but it's definitely not the most memorable.
That was like his first. I know that was like his first catch ever. So it was like that was that insane catch set the tone for what would be an insane run of incredible plays in these past 2 years. Talk Kennesaw State, end around. You could talk Penn State, the catch, probably the guy of the most famous play in IU history up until Mendoza, 4th and Mendoza. And even then you could argue like that is like the most memorable play, greatest call, like, oh my Cooper, unbelievable. Yeah, the Heisman Trophy. But just number 3 will be a bona fide stud in the NFL. Give him the Debo comp you gave IU. He's probably a mix in between. Kind of is just his own guy. 6 foot, 200. Absolute stud. Super hard to tackle. Great hands. The one-hander against Oregon. You remember that? That was so gross. Just filthy player. Clearly a top NFL guy. And one of the original Tom Allen holdovers that made a huge impact on this team. There's a few of them. Jamari Sharp, Farrell, Coop. Big part of this turnaround. And I'm glad he stuck around. And I'm glad Signetti was able to retain him because he was a very, very special piece and one of the few blue chips on this team and showed every bit of it. And we get more Omar Coopers on this team. Oh man, that's where we're trending, man. When you're looking at these recruiting classes coming in, we're just bringing in more Omar Cooper level players, and he's gonna be a stud. And they're gonna get into the system. And you just saw the development in just 2 years. Oh, just think of Omar Cooper when he was at IU, and then 2 years flash over to now. It's like if he was still in the Tom Allen system, like there's no way that guy's a top 100 pick, but here we are, and he might even go, top. He's probably going to go top 60 is the thing here, and he's gonna one of my favorite players because in the sense that I've watched him the entire time, his entire career. And I remember when he came in, I was really excited about it because it was like, oh, we got this 4-star receiver. Like, here we go. Here we go. Indiana football is starting to come around. And it's like you could pinpoint the IU football turnaround at the commitment of Omar Cooper. That is almost the start of it. You could maybe even flash it back further to when they send the whole coaching staff to the Penix home, maybe. But the commitment of Omar Cooper really got the whole ball rolling on what would eventually be a national title. And little did we know at the time.
James Bamba, Brad.
Former walk-on. Love that. Best blocking tight end specialist. Came in on those big packages. Many thought nepotism was involved with his mom being so involved with the program, right? Wouldn't be on this team if Signe didn't feel he was capable of contributing. Played a ton, 48, whether it was on special teams or big short yardage packages. One of my just personal, just folklore kind of players. Like we could just throw out James when we're throwing out names of favorite IU players over the years and 20 years from now, like James Bamba will be a hell of a pull if you come up with that one. And everyone will remember James Bamba. Like there's no doubt. Like if you know IU football, you know who James Bamba is, period. And
great Hoosier.
Yeah, great Hoosier.
And one of him and Charlie Becker were the two guys who dumped the Gatorade on Sig.
Pretty sure it was Bones and Becker.
No, it was Bamba.
Okay. Love that. Okay. That's good. That's someone to remember him by. There we go.
Yeah. If I have that wrong, maybe I'll get stat corrected. Maybe Brad's right. I'm not sure. But and if I missed any of the seniors or the graduates or the draft guys, like, yeah, blast me in the comments for that because that would be
shout out Bryson Bonds, man. I wish he was there for the ride and tear his ACL to start the year. Maybe he gets another year of eligibility. Maybe something to keep an eye on.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Brad, that's not everybody who's leaving the team. We do have some transfers. Start with the big one. Alberto Mendoza, quarterback, going to Georgia Tech. It hurts. We know they're bringing in Hoover. He wasn't going to start at Indiana, or at very best, he was going to have to compete for the job. So obviously he leaves to go start for Georgia Tech. So hard to see him go, but you understand the decision he made. And, hopefully he's somebody who boomerangs back. What do you think about Mendoza to Georgia Tech?
You echoed my sentiment there. Potential boomerang candidate, a guy that's always welcome in the program. Obviously, in this new portal era, the goal is to play as soon as you can, get as much on tape so you can get to the NFL. Don't blame him at all. Great fit with Georgia Tech. He has a lot of Haynes King to him. So I love that. Love that for him and should fit right into that system. Would have loved to have him compete as a QB2 here. I don't think there's any better QB2 job in college right now than playing at Indiana. Considering what they've been doing with quarterbacks, but he had to make a tough decision and move on. And I feel like I had more to say, but I'm kind of blanking right now because it's kind of a tough one because that's Fernando.
It's like, what are you gonna do? It's like
would have loved to keep family involved and knowing that his parents are going to be going to Atlanta games now, and it's just like I don't know.
On one side of it, you're like, I want to be able to root for Alberto Mendoza for his entire college career, but on the other side of it, you recognize that even say, and I'm not saying this is his goal, right? Because once you transfer, it's like all bets are off. But if you look at the Curt Cignetti track record, if you want to start at quarterback for Curt Cignetti, you have to put production on film, like on the field. And reality is that if he stayed to be the quarterback to at Indiana, like they're probably bringing in another transfer next year to either compete with him or take his job.
Now he can potentially be that transfer. So like, here's where we're at in this portal era. This is what I was blanking on. Wasn't what I wasn't saying. It's almost like with a lot of our twos, like they're leaving to get some tape on film to eventually maybe get the call to come back and be the starter down the line. I think it's almost like sending him to the minors. It's crazy to talk about Georgia Tech in that light, but it's almost like we're sending him down to Georgia Tech. groom them up a little bit, and then we'll see who can stack dollar bills better when it's all said and done. If he has an all ACC year.
My favorite hidden storyline of college football, and I don't know if this will ever happen, is like who's going to be like the Munchen Gladbach who just like develops players and then sells them off. You know what I mean? It's like we'll come in for like freshman, you'll play for a year or two, and then you'll transfer out, but there'll be some sort of like agreement where, you know how like Lamar Wilkerson gave money back to Sam Houston when he left. Yeah. Like there's going to be some sort of like, it's not going to be the athlete just goodwill. It'll be like contractually like, cool, and I'm making up a school, right? So pick like, I don't know,
Wazoo,
exactly.
Do a Pac-12 school.
Well, no, let's go to a MAC school. So say like Miami of Ohio, right? Okay. Is like we're gonna become the Ohio State feeder. Just come here, play for 2 years, and go to Ohio State. That's an opportunity to make a whole bunch of money. It's not like you guys are gonna compete for a national, and then all of a sudden it's like after X amount of years of building up a bankroll, and maybe you keep some of those guys, you know, maybe you stop feeding the big school. I don't know. That's just an idea. But that's
I like that. I don't hate it.
It's
getting weird. Let's get weird.
Let's get weird. Why not? Speaking of, no, this isn't getting weird. Jaja Boyd transferred to Colorado. I was really excited to see that. I hope he's going to be able to get on the field there. I think that's a really cool spot for any defensive back to go, is to play for Coach Sanders. So shout out to Jaja Boyd. What do you think of Colorado for him?
Yeah, it great fit. Love that, like you said, like love that he's going to be a starting DB under Coach Prime. Get some tape on film, very similar to Alberto Mendoza, where it's like this guy could come back. He's the guy that we were expecting as a redshirt freshman, maybe even break into the rotation this year. It's just tough, you know, when Sig just plays his guys, right? And there's not a whole lot of rotation that happens with the DBs. Something we definitely noticed. Maybe they'll mix in a Gandy and a Baldwin, which is what they did, but didn't really have room for Jaja Boyd. Lou Moore and Farrell were playing at such a high level. Wasn't a whole lot of opportunity for him. So to have him stay in power forward, it's a great sign that he might, boomerang and come back and is of quality to play at Indiana, but had to find some time to play now. And as going into his redshirt sophomore year, where he's still going to have 3 years of eligibility, going to Colorado, where plenty is on the table, right? Where he might go to Colorado, stay there for 3 years, have a hell of a career, go to the NFL, but might find his way back. We love Jaja Boyd and wish him nothing but the best, because in this portal era, we've had boomerangs before and might have some again. With Benson and Lou Moore this past year, we haven't had any this year. I could talk about one that I feel like we missed out on, but that's more for the who's in later.
Evan Lawrence ended up at San Diego State, Brad.
A great program. Once again, another guy coming into his redshirt sophomore year at San Diego State, where he will be likely the starter, I would imagine. I can't imagine he would go there thinking he would not start. Why develop anywhere else as a backup? So good for him that he found a home in a very strong program out there. I believe they're going to be in the Pac-12 next year, so going to be playing some pretty high-level ball against the Oregon States, the Boise States, the Washington States of the world, and we'll get some good experience for him. And like you said, it's like every time it's like, oh, I feel like this guy's come back, like forever national champion, like would be welcome back in open arms. They know the system. They know what needs to get done. What's nice is that what's kind of interesting is that with all these guys we're mentioning that are out transfer-wise, like they're bringing in a new perspective to these programs. Like, hey, this is how we do things. Like these guys might become leaders on their respective teams that they're going to, because they know how to take care of business. They know how to prepare. They know what it takes. They've seen it. So
I think that's an excellent point, Brad, because I didn't even have this guy written down because I think he walked on in Indiana, but I added him to the list later. Ace Cagnoli.
I knew you were gonna.
but just to anchor the point you just made is John Summerall is looking around the transfer portal going like, how do I set a culture here at Florida? Like maybe that's the only Indiana guy he could get to come to his program, or I don't know how that went, but the fact that he looked around the landscape and was like, I want to bring in that guy into my program, I think speaks to exactly what you're talking about. Is a lot of these guys are bringing not only championship experience, but day-to-day experience in the Curt Cignetti system. And people talk about how that system like creates football players and creates leaders and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, even the people who didn't play every day were still going through the day-to-day motions of being in the Kurt Cignetti program. So yeah, I think that's a really big deal to try and bring in one of these guys as you're bringing in a potential culture setter.
100%, right? And I think as we get successful, like we talk about coaching staff turnover, we talk about roster turnover, like everyone wants a little bit of what's going on over here in Bloomington. Everyone wants a little slice. Everyone wants a little sprinkle of what the magic that's happening here in Bloomington, and they wanted to be a part of their program, so they're finding any means to do that, whether it's taking a coach or bringing in a player, right? And that's gonna be a common theme that we're gonna see. That's why Signoli is a smart guy. Went to the portal and kind of, foretold. Listen, now he's going to Florida. He's playing SEC ball. Like, go for him. Like, hell yeah. We don't talk about, I don't talk about walk-ons that don't play.
But maybe he's getting a scholarship opportunity there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I
think
that's
something like that wasn't available here.
Yeah, great for him. Good for A. Signoli.
Yeah. Hosea Wheeler was probably the biggest shock to enter the transfer portal, as in most people didn't realize he potentially had eligibility left.
Yeah.
He ended up at Baylor. He's there's a Pavia lawsuit that is currently going on that it's something to do with JUCO football. And so if he ends up with eligibility, he's going to end up at Baylor. Hosea Wheeler in the fit for Baylor.
Great move by them. I'll forever remember Hosea Wheeler, first play of the year, didn't stay home, and Colton Joseph ran for 75 yards for a touchdown.
No, come on. I will remember Hosea Wheeler for being the closest guy to Julian Sayin when his knee went down when he didn't get the 4th down in the Big Ten championship game. I'll remember Hosea Wheeler for making that play.
Okay, there you go. I like that. But that's how I'll remember Hosea Wheeler. I remember texting you after that play, like, I know Hosea Wheeler is going to be the death of me. So it's like that's a guy that won't be boomeranging back because he's going to have at best one more year. Hopefully he gets his eligibility to get some more time on tape because it feels like, with the emergence of Landino, which we expected, it wasn't. He kind of just got beat out by a better player and just didn't get as much tick as he probably anticipated when he came in here and took the number 0 as a D tackle and did his thing. But yeah, wish him nothing but the best. There's a big reason why he's going to Power 4. He's staying there.
Well, when we were running the 4 down linemen and playing 2 defensive tackles, like he was very much firmly in the rotation. He was playing good snaps. When we transitioned to the 3 down linemen and we're running that 3-3-5, like it was with 1 nose tackle, like you're not taking Tucker off the field.
Yeah, exactly.
And then with the way Landino rotating in and then Ratcliffe was playing, it was like it just with the system they were running, it wasn't really a fit.
Mm-hmm.
But no, really, really talented player and another person who's a national champion for life. Mekhi Jackson, Brad, we were talking about him as potentially having a big impact on this team. Not only did he not have an impact on this team, but he ended up going to Liberty. So shout out to Mekhi Jackson, who's going to obviously be able to find playing time at Liberty, and just kind of unfortunate that it wasn't able to work out here. But what are your thoughts on Mekhi Jackson's fit with Liberty?
Should have a big year. Could be an all-conference type guy in the CUSA. At the premier program in that conference as well. There's a reason why he's didn't go Power 4, but went to a playoff contender in the sense that they can go undefeated in that conference and make a push for a playoff berth if they get their shit in order, right? And a guy that was all conference in the Sun Belt coming in, which is why we expected him. He's one of the more productive guys that we were bringing in through the portal, and we expected kind of a bigger year from him. But the emergence of Charlie Becker just beat him out in practice straight up. Didn't have a whole lot of room for growth here, considering the loaded roster that we had here between Brady and Becker and Coop Williams and Surratt. And we didn't talk about Brady as a guy leaving, by the way.
Oh my God!
Shout out number 0. Came in
Johnny Brady
in certain spots as a punt returner, had a punt return for a touchdown this past year. Mendoza's guy that we brought in to make him a little more comfortable, and it worked out pretty well, I would say. So shout out Johnny Brady, punt returner on a national championship team.
For somebody who wasn't playing a ton of snaps all year, played very meaningful snaps in the Big Ten championship game and did not look out of place. A very important piece to the roster, and somebody who made it difficult to punt to Indiana because of the punt return he put on film early in the season.
Are we punt return you? Is he going to go undrafted and get a Miles Price type role? Stay tuned.
He should. He should.
He's talented enough for sure. But who are we talking about?
Jamari Monet.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
Monet hit the transfer portal. Damn.
Yeah, which sucks. I know the guys in the room loved him. He's a great teammate, and just but another guy who, if you look at what they brought in on the defensive line, you look at the young guys who are now getting a year older. If you want to play, Indiana was probably not the place where he was going to get significant playing time, and so from that sense, I understand it.
The Tom Allen guys are continuing to decrease here, as it seems like it's only Jones, Utzinger, and Sharp left. Just at a quick glance.
Carter Smith. Come on.
Carter Smith. My bad. And Bray Lynch.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So that's like 5 Tom Allen guys.
Kobe Martin.
No.
Yes.
Kobe Martin was a SIG guy.
Nope. Tom Allen guy.
He's a redshirt freshman.
He was part of that Tom Allen class and stuck around.
Committed. Like stuck around committed.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
He was just like
he never went to a practice under Tom Allen, though.
Correct. But Charlie Becker is technically a Tom Allen
guy.
We're
straight here. Does that make him a Tom Allen guy? I'm not sure.
They had to be re-recruited by Signetti, but a lot of those, they were committed to most of that 2024 class was committed to Tom Allen. Then obviously he brought in his own guys on top of that.
Where'd Monet go?
He doesn't have a destination yet, at least when I looked a couple of days ago. So if he did commit somewhere and I missed it, definitely let me know in the chat.
Yeah, he might just come back. Who knows?
That'd be awesome. Dontre Henderson ended up at Arkansas State.
Is that Jair Alexander's? He's going to Arkansas State?
Yeah.
Because he has nothing on tape, but I'm surprised by that. A little bit.
I mean, I'm not that surprised. You look at Indiana's cornerback room right now. They brought in Carson Williams and AJ Harris. That's to go on.
I'm surprised he went to Arkansas State, and again, he's going to be a redshirt freshman going into next year, I believe. No, a redshirt sophomore. He's going to be a redshirt sophomore, and he's going to be. I'm surprised he's not playing power 4 ball.
He wasn't on the 2 deep, Brad.
I know. He was on my 3 deep right here, but national championship team.
Yeah, that's fair. Mitch Verstegen.
That's a guy that might break out as an all-conference guy in that league and
that'd be awesome.
Find his way up. Like I said, we're just sending guys to the minors, it seems like.
Mitch Verstegen hopped in the portal, Brad. He doesn't have a destination yet.
Redshirt freshman.
It does hurt to be losing a lot of these.
Nice to have him back for O-line depth. It feels like it's dwindling with Lawrence and Verstegen leaving. With all the guys that are already.
But they have a nice class coming in, and the class of 2025 is loaded. Guys like Wilkin and Parker and Marak. Oh, I think Parker's actually 2024, but Marak and Liebfried, and they got some dudes.
Johnny's a sophomore.
Johnny's already a starter.
Starting right tackle probably next year.
But back to the guys who are transferring out, Brad. Both the Pepe brothers are going to UMass. There were some rumors about them and maybe how they did or didn't gel with the team. But I mean, there was points where 42 was in like on the field with the 2s or 3s or whoever that was. And so wish those guys the best for sure.
I heard they have a vaping habit. Anyways,
I wasn't gonna say it, Brad. And then Amari and Knighton hit the portal, and I don't believe he has a destination yet either. And that one was you understand these things. So you look at the guys they brought in the cornerback room, like I was just about to talk about. And like we're not going to talk about the depth chart tonight, but it's a deep room that got deeper. You talk about guys like Jalen Hollywood Bell, who are getting a year older. Zachary Smith's getting a year older.
We're very high on.
Mm-hmm. Like that's a really talented room. Jamari Sharp obviously is going to be probably the number 1 corner in that room. Rylan Gandy is going nowhere. He's back. Who's somebody flying completely under the radar. He was he started. Yeah, Gandy got the start in place of Pons when they went to Kinnick Stadium. So if you looking at the roster right now, I know they brought in AJ Harris, but the assumption would be that the 2 starting cornerbacks are Sharp and Gandy, at least right now.
Mm-hmm. Going into it, because I feel like AJ Harris has to earn it a little bit. Bringing in.
But hold on, let's put a bow on who's out, because Amari and Knighton final.
That's a lot of guys, man.
Yeah, it is a lot. I don't know what the exact count is.
Half the roster's leaving. there?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Portal era is crazy, man. It used to be just like your 20 seniors leave, bring in your 20 guys to the freshman class, and that's your team.
Yeah, 20 seniors left, and then
it's a good thing we own the portal era. It's a good thing.
And 13 guys in the portal. So 33 guys out.
Probably more. Shout out Frankie, McCarthy, and Langston.
Oh my God.
Those are shout outs.
Jesus. I didn't even put any of the specialists in there.
Frankie, McCarthy, and Langston. Great special teams unit. Frankie.
Unbelievable special teams unit. They were phenomenal.
Tore his
groin
in the UCLA game. We were there. That we were like, why did they squib it? It's like then you just see Frankie just dead on the ground. Kind of funny. But yeah, he came back for the Natty. It was nice to have him back, get some shine.
Yeah, Mark Langston. You never Indiana didn't have, there was no long snap problems ever with that guy. Just an absolute pro, ran regressions to figure out how much he should practice and all that good stuff. Like just another one of those unique guys in that locker room that we're probably not going to get another Mark Langston.
100%.
And then McCarthy too. McCarthy's best game of the season. You could argue that McCarthy's best game of the season was the national championship. And also McCarthy is personally responsible. I don't want to call him like 100% personally responsible, but I know when they were interested in, was it Billy Gowers, the punter for Hawaii?
Yeah.
When they started talking about who they were going to go after, McCarthy was a big part of that recruiting process for Gowers.
Very nice. Love that. Culture.
Yep. So that's who's out, Brad.
We got a lot to replace. We gotta wait till next week to cover who's filling those spots because we're at 3 hours now. We just can't do it.
This is why I drive the bus and don't let you talk me into things, because I should have just called it who's out. Because I knew we were going to speak for 3 hours, especially running through all the smoke and whatever. But yeah,
I didn't know how big the smoke. I didn't think we'd be an hour 30 in, and there's smoke still.
Listen, when you're the national champions, things just happen to you, Brad, and you got to talk about them. But I love it. Yeah, big time. We'll save who's in for next week. Like I said, I still believe they're adding to this football team. I don't think the roster is complete by any means. We talked about losing Aiden Fisher. They haven't replaced him yet. And you're not going to replace Aiden Fisher, right? And that's not somebody you can replace with one person. I would expect Indiana probably looks at their roster and goes, our best 11 is a 4-2-5, but we can get into that next week. Do you have any closing thoughts on the guys leaving the program? And I say this to say, like, we're not going to close the book on the 2025 Hoosiers, right? Like, I'm going to talk about this football team forever. Like, one of the funniest chirps I got in the preseason was like, are you going to tell you're not going to tell your grandkids about anything that happened with the 2024 Hoosiers? And I was like, like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm going to talk about all these blowouts and all this stuff. And like, but at a certain level, like they were right. Like, there wasn't anything like, yeah, it was a great season, but would they win? I'm going to like the stories you can tell about this 2025 Indiana Hoosiers team, they live forever. They're legendary. And so like it'll never be over for this team. But in terms like eventually you have like the 2025 season ends, like you said, winter workouts. So I believe Indiana started, if they didn't start their strength program or their winter conditioning today, like they start this week. And so it's time to turn the page. So what do you have to close the book on 2025?
For me, a lot of the 2024 kind of bleeds over to 2025 for me. I really do see it as one big process that just culminates into a national title. So in that sense, like I'll always talk about the 2024 team, like blowing out Nebraska, try 5, get 6 against Washington. The Michigan game really sticks out. It's a big memory for me, just like celebrating it wise, going 10-0 for the first time in school history. Like that was a big moment. A lot of things accomplished by 2024, and Sig said it ad nauseum, like this does not happen without those guys. Yeah, I think we are closing the book chapter on it. We're closing the book. It's time to move on to what I'm going to call February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 7 months of rat poison, where Indiana is now in a new era where they are the top dogs. I think we're going to talk about ad nauseum. Like we're going to talk strength conditioning and what that impact's going to be. I think there's a new thing where this team's not going to really be able to have, like, where are they going to find their edge? right? How are they going to find that? I have theories. I'm not going to get into it now, but how are they going to find their edge? I think it is very easy for this team to find their edge. We're Indiana. We haven't won shit. You're Indiana, and you'll never win shit. Doubters ad nauseum across the board throughout all the media. Everyone telling them how they're not good enough, how they're not going to do anything. Preseason top 22, right? Preseason 22 was this team in the AP poll. They're not going to have that going into this year. They're going to be a preseason top 5 team, possibly number 1. They're going to be talked about like the likes of Texas and Notre Dame and Ohio State every year. And how are they going to handle that? Where are they going to find their edge? Good news, we got Cignetti, who's a watchdog for complacency and knows the process and has no problem reeling guys out, never satisfied. And we have guys there that know the program and know what to do. It's almost like when we brought in like the Cignetti like 13, the James Madison 13. It's like, okay, now we have the Indiana 25, like whatever 30 so guys that are coming back, and that's the core, right? And then we're going to build off that through the portal and the freshmen that we're bringing in. So it's just going to be really exciting to figure out how this team's going to find their edge, how they're going to block out the noise going through the offseason, making sure that they're doing all the right things and making sure they're sticking with the same process that got them to where they got to. Because every year it's starting fresh. Like we just went through this whole thing where we're losing half the roster. It's a brand new team, right? And it's the same thing last year. It's going to be the same thing after 26 as well. So just going into that, and it'll be fascinating to find out how Cignetti's able to, because Cignetti's never been in this spot either, where he's the top of the college football world, and technically nothing to prove, right? Like nothing to prove.
I mean,
right?
he was a part of Alabama's undefeated national champion team. You know what I mean? And then he was on the staff the next year. So it's like,
I'm saying, like, as a head coach, he's not been in this spot. He's been at IUP. So it'll be interesting to kind of just see him follow. Do I have doubts about them being able to make the playoff again? No. Do I have doubts about them, the possibility of repeating? No. This team, it'll just be interesting to follow how they're able to find their edge and how they're going to separate themselves from the rest of the pack as everyone else is loading up on the rosters. Everyone's talking about how good Miami's offense is going to be next year. And what makes Indiana football special is that they go through a process. They take everything super serious. They find a way to get better every time they go to work, whether that's film study, whether that's winter workouts, whether that's practice. They find ways to get better in increments, and it stacks on each other, and it culminates in a national title. And trying to find a way to replicate that going into 2026 is just going to be fascinating to see, and seeing how they do it. And I think you following the pressers and things like that, understand how these guys are talking and comparing it to what we've been following. This is why I'm glad we've been going through the pressers for as long as we have, because now we're going to see kind of that next, we call it chapter 3, but it's almost chapter 2. Right, where it's like this new group of guys, and how do they respond post championship? Right, it's a new just thing that I don't think a lot of these guys don't have. Just no one does. Like it's not anything against them. They just don't. No one's ever really been in the spot.
I'm going to leave us on a cliffhanger, Brad, because I really appreciate what you just set up there, and I think that, to your point and what you highlighted, this is a completely new team, and you do have to go through the process every year. And there was this contingent of JMU guys where it really felt like the 2024 season and 2025 season was the finishing of a story for that JMU doubted crew. And now this is Indiana football, and what are we going to do in this new age where now people respect us as a football power? But you talk about the guys that are leaving and what they're leaving behind. Well, like what doesn't get covered and who's in and who's out is who stayed. And I think one of the, if not the most important piece on the 2025 Hoosiers is going to be somebody who is already on the team this year. And I'm really excited to watch the way this kid develops and ends up playing on the field, and let people figure out who I'm talking about. I
don't know who you're talking about, but it could be Wilson. I'm just going to run through names. I'm not going to say anything more. Wilson, Chandler, Becker, Thierry, Ajani, Lynch, Evans, Smith, Tucker, Landino, and Dukeway.
I think the future
Jones,
leader of this football
Harvey,
team. I think the future leader of this football team, Brad,
Farrell.
watched the path, watched the guys like set the tone.
When you tweeted about it too, Baldwin. I'll read you like a book.
We'll talk about who's in next week. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at IndianaVOCFB. If you're watching on the Sigs Inside account, hop on over to YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football. You can follow me at Alec Keiser, follow Brad at Bradley_Loomis8. Check out all the things going on at the Voice of College Football. Check us out on Instagram. Shout out to the boys, Wave, Nick, Skrill, Signar, the intro song, 1621, the outro song is the sweet sound of Butter Symphony. Like I said, we'll talk about who's in next week. And we'll figure out if Brad was right about the cliffhanger or not. I don't know.
I think I was. You got 3 hours out of me today. Good for you.
I know, that's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. Go Hoosiers. We'll see you next week.